mind. Suppose there are times when you're feeling undefined. Suppose there are days when your colors turn to gray. That's when you call me and know just what to say. We go out and on the night. We jump and touch the light. We dance and we don't sleep until we die. We don't have to worry. Drink up the night, it's early. Keep dancing, there's a time for running right. Suppose there are times when you lose your troubled mind. Suppose there are times when you're feeling undefined. Suppose there are days when your colors turn to gray. That's when you call me and know just what to say. We go out and on the night. We jump and touch the light. We dance and we don't sleep until we die. We don't have to worry. Drink up the night, it's early. Keep dancing, there's a time for running right. Suppose there are times when you're feeling unfound. Suppose there are days when your colors touch the ground. That's when you call me and know just what to say. We go out and on the night. We jump and touch the light. We dance and we don't sleep until we die. We don't have to worry. Drink up the night, it's early. Keep dancing, there's a time for running right. Suppose there are times when you lose your troubled mind. Suppose there are times when you're feeling unfound. Suppose there are days when your colors touch the ground. That's when you call me and know just what to say. We go out and on the night. We jump and touch the light. We dance and we don't sleep until we die. We don't have to worry. Drink up the night, it's early. Keep dancing, there's a time for running right. the light. We dance and we don't sleep until we die. We don't have to worry. Drink up the lights early. Keep dancing, there's no time for running right. Suppose there are times when you lose your troubled mind. Suppose there are times when you're feeling undefined. Suppose there are days when your colors turn to gray. That's when you call me and know just what to say. We go out and on the night. Reach up and touch the light. We dance and we don't sleep until we die. We don't have to worry. Drink up the lights early. Keep dancing, there's a time for running right.
Guys, we are back, and today we have the finals, the grand finals of the WD Black Cup of Season 2 of League of Legends, which is brought to you by AMD and the esports partner Sky Esports. I am Fireball, and casting with me will be Kaka.
Hey guys, how are you? And yeah, I'm pretty excited for this finals Fireball Temple of Kings versus False Nine. Two Indian teams yet again meeting in the finals.
Yeah.
And a lot of
So
history
we
between the two teams.
exactly, and we had 64 teams from all across South Asia in this tournament. Coming from India, Bangladesh, Bhutan, Maldives, Nepal, and Sri Lanka to battle it out for the past few weeks, but only two survive today, and the final result will be declared today. And as you mentioned, again, two Indian teams. So India has been generally the stronger region in South Asia, and Temple of Kings, like we saw yesterday, had a pretty convincing performance against the Sri Lankan team Ace Phoenix, and they 2-0'd them. So looking forward to what they want to bring up tonight. And Fake Nine had their game played offline, so looking forward to their game as well.
Yeah, and Ace Phoenix Bangladeshi team. I mean, it was a convincing win, I would say,
Bangladesh.
but the performance I'm not too sure about because, as we remember, the second game was too close to comfort from Temple of Kings. They ended up winning while being in a goal deficit, so that should give some hope to Fake Nine today.
Yeah, definitely. Like Temple of Kings, that just showed that they're not some unreachable team that is gonna just run over you. Ace Phoenix did really well, had like 10 to 12 kills advantage, were always in the goal lead right till the end. So that should really give some confidence to the opposite team, Fake Nine, to bring up their A game and try to get the series. So this will be a best of five. So the first team to take three games wins, and should be a pretty interesting night of League of Legends.
Yeah, and that's the hope.
And let's just go ahead and see the prize pool, the motivating factor for this team. So both of these teams have confirmed a pretty hefty chunk of the prize pool. They will be battling for that $1,500 first place prize. So we had a total of $3,000, and today they are looking to get that 1,500. The second team is confirmed for 750, and third and fourth walked away with 300 yesterday. And we do also have a special prize, the MVP of the tournament, and that'll earn him an extra 150.
Yeah, and speaking of MVP, I mean, Dominic has to be the front runner. I mean, I know we were talking about Dead Corporal and Black Infinity and everyone else basically, but Dominic was pretty consistent yesterday, really carrying the second game, did his bit in the first game as well. So he's the one to look out for today.
Oh, definitely. Like as you said, we were all looking forward to these solo laners and junglers in Black Infinity, Katrina Bot. These really high ranked players in the Garena ladder, all challenger, grandmaster players. And but just never thought about Dominic, but he came up so huge. Like you mentioned, the second game he carried his team on his back while his team was falling apart in the top lane, in the jungle, mid lane, everywhere else. He kept his calm. He farmed up a absolute mammoth CS lead at 10 CS per minute, died zero times in the whole game when his team died at like 4 5 times already, and just carried his team on his back. So I'm looking forward to see what goes on. Now let's just move ahead to the brackets and see the journey of these two teams as they moved from the earlier rounds to the grand final. So Temple of Kings ended up beating the Praetorians in the quarters, and we saw yesterday against Ace Phoenix and a very good best of three series coming out there to reach the grand finals. Whereas Fake Nine did come through while beating the Bangladeshi team Ace Wyvern and Melbourne Riders in semifinals, which was played offline, and now they are up against Temple of Kings in the grand finals.
Yeah, and this sets up a really good grand final. Two Indian teams battling it out.
Yeah. So there you have it, guys. Temple of Kings versus Fake Nine, two giants of the Indian scene right now. So, like Kaka, you have played your share of competitive games, and you have played against these players. Like all 10 of these players are pretty known figures in the Indian League of Legends scene. So, what do you expect out of these people?
Yeah, I'm expecting some really good League of Legends coming out from both the sides, and hopefully it goes to 5 games. And that's the only hope actually. Temple of Kings did show they have some chinks in their armor as well. And Fake Nine, we have yet to see them play live, but I'm expecting a lot of good things from them.
Yeah, exactly. So we will be getting into the picks and bans really shortly, and let's just get into the draft. But these are your teams for tonight. This is Temple of Kings. We have Black Infinity in the top lane, Dead Copper in the jungle, Kai, also known as Katrina Bot, in the mid lane with Dominic, ADC, Rusty Panda as the support, and Crow as their sixth substitute player.
Yeah, Dominic looks very mean. He means business. You can just see it in his face. He's gonna rip the other team
He's
to
a
shreds
menace.
today.
One of these people will be looking for get the MVP prize. Now let's look at the opponents of Temple of Kings, which are Fake Nine. We have got Frodo in the top lane, Shokya in the jungle, Madrasi in the mid lane, Irwin against Dominic in the bottom lane, Willy Wonka support, and Spartan as their sixth substitute player who plays as a jungler. So these guys look
Yeah,
like they are in to beat Temple of Kings as well.
yeah, and Frodo looks really cute in that cat hat, I must say. And
Oh
speaking
yeah.
of matchups, actually in the bot lane, Dominic and Irwin have played together as a bot lane. Dominic used to support Irwin back in the day, but now they're gonna face each other as AD carries, so that makes up for a very spicy matchup.
So yeah, definitely the interesting thing to keep in mind. So both of them know each other inside out. They know what the other guy likes to do and how Irwin would like to position, or what his playstyle will be. So maybe he can use that against him and vice versa. So that just increases the hype in the bot lane for me, seeing that both of these guys are really top tier AD carries.
Yeah, and props to Shokya as well. He has been consistent throughout the last 6 7 tournaments. Keeps finding himself in the semifinals at least. So carrying his pocket Evelyn to every tournament. So he's gonna be one of the players that I'm gonna be looking at as well.
Oh yeah, definitely like Shokya, known for his Evelyn quite a bit. He plays like Echo as well. So I think I'm assuming the Evelyn is gonna be banned against this guy, and you do not want this menace of a jungler on Evelyn. Okay. So there you go. Those were your teams for tonight: Temple of Kings and Fake Nine. Both of them looking to get hands on that $1,500 prize pool. So we will be getting into picks and bans and the draft phase as soon as possible. So let's see what these guys have in mind for the team comps and what they want to ban out against each other.
Yeah, and speaking of big bands, before we get to the screen, Faisal, again we could see the Elise, Katerina, Kiana, all these the same bands from last night from Fake Nine. Because Ace Phoenix tried to target Katerina bot, but he pulled up his Corki and Victor, and he did really well. So you really don't know what to ban against him anymore.
Well, definitely, I still think that Katrina, Kiana, and things like Talon, they have to be perma ban against that guy because even if he's not on his comfort champions, you see him getting like 20 kills on a Corki. So it just goes to show how proficient he must be on his main champions. So I don't think you can take that risk to leave those champions open. But let's see what Fake Nine has in store for them. So before we get into the game, I'm gonna ask you for a quick prediction for this two series.
So I really hope this goes to all 5 games, and I can see the potential in both the teams to beat each other, and it could be a very back and forth series if Temple of Kings decide to play like they did yesterday, and if they don't, if they clean up, if they have cleaned up their game and played a bit slower, then this could be a whitewash as well. So I'm gonna
So
sit on the
we
fence and actually not call out a winner, but maybe 3-1 to Temple of Kings.
okay. So we have 3-1 to Temple of Kings by Kaka. So guys, let us know in the chat as well. Let's have some predictions by you guys watching, and I'm just gonna go ahead and predict a 3-0 for Temple of Kings right now because I still think they might have gotten a wake up call from yesterday's games, and they will try to clean up their plays and just clinically finish the series and go home with the prize as soon as they can.
I mean, yeah, they are the heavy favorites coming in. So if they have cleaned up their act, then it's not far fetched that they go 3-0 in this series as well. But that really depends on how they perform on the day. And Fake Nine could pull off a huge upset win here.
Only time will tell, as we will look to get into the draft phase. And look, we keep talking about Katrina bots bans. So, in Fake Nine, who do you think like the people who will be banned out? So, like we already talked about Shock as Evelyn. So, do you think any other champions who are like must ban from the side of Temple of Kings, or do you think they can?
Shokya's Evelyn, yeah. And if you remember, we casted one of the games as well when Frodo played against the Urgot from the other side, and his Silas just
Mhm.
he was such a menace in that game. So look out for that ban as well, because Frodo has been performing out of his mind as well. Shokya, I mean, it goes without saying, his Hecarim, his Evelyn, his Kindred. Not a lot of people know, but I mean, actually, a lot of people know, but his Kindred, Graves, Evelyn, he's so comfortable on those champs. So maybe he could be the one who gets targeted.
Uh, So let's just look and go right into the picks and bans. So the first ban actually was missed by the team Temple of Kings, I think. So that will be Fiora, as we are getting that information right now. So Fake Nine have gone ahead and banned the Katrina and Elise as we have predicted. But we saw this yesterday as well. Temple of Kings keep banning out this Lulu. Maybe they just do not want to play against that champion.
Yeah, it does seem like they're not comfortable playing against the Enchanter that is Lulu in the bot lane. They really don't want to. I mean, they want an easier laning phase, and Lulu can be quite obnoxious in the laning phase as well. Katarina, Ellie, same bans as last night. Trundle ban is very interesting to me here. And a Caitlyn first pick
Oh
as well.
yeah, like if you remember yesterday, Temple of Kings were actually struggling against that Trundle when they picked their Poppy up. So now here we see that Samira and Evelyn has been picked up. So Evelyn wasn't banned. So Take Nine decided not to first pick that for Shokya. So instead they end up losing that to Temple of Kings now.
Yeah, and Fake Nine decides to pick up the Leona as well, trying to deny the Samira and Leona combo. And speaking of Evelyn as well, I think this is going to be Black Infinity playing his famous Evelyn here. So I'm really, really surprised, but really excited for it. And Corki as
Yeah,
well,
like
they try to deny it from Temple of Kings.
yep. Another
A lot
thing
of
we
mind games
failed
going on
to
here.
mention here is that Black Infinity is a Grand Master tier jungler, so he can be flexed to that role as well. So I agree with you. I think this will be Black Infinity actually playing that Evelyn in the jungle because we know how good he really is. I think if anyone can rival Showcase Evelyn, it is this guy right here. So Leona taken away, as you said, to deny the Samira combo. Corki taken away, or let's just assume it is taken away because what Akshaj or Katrina bot showed us yesterday. So that will be picked up in the mid lane. So Camille ban coming ahead from Temple of Kings.
Yeah, and we can see why they tried to ban the Morgana, why they ended up banning the Morgana, because they wanted to pick the Blitzcrank for Rusty Panda, make him roam to wherever he can. He's such a good Blitzcrank player.
Yeah.
Of course, he's gotten Grandmaster by just playing Blitzcrank and Thresh, so he's really, really good at that champion as well.
Yeah. Now, another fun fact for the viewers, we had a site called League of Graphs which showed you what rank you are on what champion, and Rusty Panda's Blitzcrank was the number one Blitzcrank on the Garena Singapore server at one point. So this guy is not joking around when he plays Blitzcrank.
Yeah, and Lilia ban is very interesting. Kiana, I mean, these are all expected bans against Katarina bot. The Kiana and the Lilia and Camille bans coming out against Frodo. It's very interesting.
Yeah, so I think I would assume that this would be a Talon ban. Let's just see what they end up banning. So they have already picked up the mid laner Corki, so they could look to
And
ban out unfavorable matchups against them.
actually, this could be the
And
Fiora ban that we got the information about. So yeah,
oh
there is
yeah,
no ban. It
okay.
is actually Fiora that gets banned from Fake Nine. It just doesn't show. Fourth pick coming in for Temple of Kings, and they should be looking
Look,
in to pick up
get
their
a
mid
mid
lane,
laner
and
and a
there it
top
is.
laner. So, Ahari,
Yeah,
what are your
Ari is
thoughts
very
on Ari
interesting
against
because
Corki?
I mean, Arya can definitely push up the lane and look to roam. I mean, that's how he likes to play Katarina bot. He likes to push up his lane, roam as much as he can, and Ari fits his play style as well. But I would say there are a lot of better picks out there, but it's more of a comfort pick than the meta pick. hovering the talent from Fake 9.
Like another thing you notice, Fake Nine has looked to take away a lot of picks as well. They took away the Caitlyn, I guess, from Dominic because of the last game, and I think the teams playing against Temple of Kings have to do this because there's only so many champions you can actually ban out, so they have to end up taking up the comfort picks from the enemy as well. So you saw Dominic absolutely take over the Summoner's Rift yesterday on that Caitlyn. So they just deny him that, and they will round off their composition by picking up an Akali, which will probably go in the top lane.
Yeah, and picking up two assassins to round off their composition. Talon in the jungle, Akali in the top lane. It's a really interesting pick and ban coming from Fake 9. And Akali does well in most matchups in top lane, so it's not a bad blind pick at all. And she could be the defining factor in this game as said gets locked in for the final pick from Temple of Kings.
So we have both of our teams rounded off. So what are your initial thoughts looking at the 10 champions we have picked?
Yeah, I'm really excited to see Black Infinity's Evelyn if he ends up playing it and Rusty Panda's Blitzcrank. I think those two together can really take over the game by themselves by roaming into that enemy jungle and finding the talent and try to kill him. So I'm really excited to watch both of them play together in this one.
Yeah, definitely like two of the most comfort picks that these guys can get, they have gotten. So I'm just really excited to see like what these two people do, and just walk me through the matchups. What do you think? So like we have Akali versus Set on the top lane. So how do you think that should go ideally?
I mean, it should be a really even matchup as Akali doesn't really have a lot of kill pressure till she turns level 6, and Set can dominate the lane early on, but once the Akali gets her W, she can fight around it, and we get into game. Akali is running Ignite in the top lane, so that 1v1 just swings into her favor right away. Invade coming out from Temple of Kings.
Yeah, this would be expected with a Blitzcrank pick. So the red team, Temple of King, just walks up into the jungle. Fake Nine does put down a ward, which will be immediately taken down from Temple of Kings. So that just gives up some extra XP to the RE and like 10 gold.
Infinity on the Evelyn, and make no mistake, his Evelyn is really scary. He can take over the game by himself and just win out the game by himself. He's so comfortable on that champion. He's so good at it.
And like he has avenues to gank as well because every single lane has some sort of CC which can aid him to land that charm. And like once you land the charm, you just shred all of the magic resist, and it's just so easy to follow that up with a kill.
Yeah, and it's gonna be interesting to see how he decides to path. I think he's gonna go for a full clear, crab recall, and then full clear again. Try to get that level 6. His strong point in the game. Evelyn is just so obnoxious when she turns invisible at level 6, and then you're always scared for your life.
Mhm. So like you have to start warding in unorthodox ways instead of warding the bushes. You have to start going deeper into the jungle and start warding the camps to know exactly where she is. So it just puts that much more pressure on the enemy team to find out where the Evelyn is.
Yeah, and good trade coming out from Sasi Baka. He realizes Set is really strong at level 1 with his double punch passive, so takes the advantage there, and really standard stuff going on. Fake 9 did end up boarding the Evelyn's red buff, so they know where she has started, and Talon's gonna try to match the Evelyn towards the
So,
top
like
side of the map.
Dominic taking a lot of damage as expected because of the long range Caitlyn. And I would expect the Caitlyn to build up a CS lead pretty early on this in this lane as well, just abusing her range advantage.
Yeah, and Irwin's really good at the Caitlyn as well. I mean, I know Dominic played out of his mind yesterday, but Irwin's Caitlyn is, really strong as well. So let's see how that matchup goes. Top lane, heavy trading at top lane. Frodo
Yeah.
coming out on top here.
Mid lane as well. Katrina bot has taken down Madrasi to about half HP, made him use his pot. So His sustain is gone, and the charm actually connects. Maybe follow that up with an ignite, a flash auto attack. Oh, he doesn't run the ignite, so Madrasi actually survives with a sliver of HP. Good charm, but just unlucky from Katrina Bot to not actually finish up that kill.
Yeah, and Katrina Bot thought he had more damage than he actually did. Was a really
So
good
maybe
trade.
we are looking for a fight at top lane as well. Frodo will go down to about 100 HP as well. Sasibaka expends his flash to make sure he lands that W. So two flashes actually been blown up from the side of Temple of Kings without getting a kill.
Yeah, and Frodo barely survives at top. Sasibaka came so close to killing him. And speaking of that matchup, Set is doing so well right now. He's 10 CS up. He still has his TP. He's gonna TP back into the lane, and the wave is shoving onto him. So that's why you can see Black Infinity on the Evelyn trying to cover him up there and try to gang the Akali, but it's gonna be hard for him. So let's see how that ends
Maybe,
up.
maybe his Infinity wanted to protect him from counter gank, but Akali does manage to push up ahead. So Akali does not have flash. Remember, in the mid lane we have a fight as well. So the Shroud will keep the Akali safe for a little bit. The charm duration has gone away, so the charm will not be available. The red buff is taking away. Black Infinity is tanking the turret, and beautifully played by Temple of Kings to get that dive off and trading the turret aggro really well and managing to get the first blood.
Yeah, and Akali, Frodo does not have TP, and that's gonna be a massive wave that goes up against his turret, and he's gonna lose out on XP. Quite a lot of XP. He's almost half the CS of Set, so huge lead coming out in the top lane, and perfect timing on the gang from Black Infinity.
And like knowing the limits of his champion as well, knowing like how many turrets he can tank, and this beautiful play going on there. Meanwhile, we have Shokya jumping on to Katrina Bot. Katrina Bot does not have mana for that charm, so she will just start auto attacking Shokya back, but doesn't end up with anything. Sasibaka looking to trade back onto Frodo once again. So Frodo is having a rough time in this lane.
Yeah, he really is. Whenever he goes in for a trade, he ends up on the worst. So it's gonna be really tough for him to come back in the laning phase at least.
Yeah, Sasibaka does end up getting that turret hit. So once again, ooh, the man ends up taking two turret shots. So suddenly looks himself with less HP. A hook will connect onto the Leona, but that's not a champion you want to all in on. 5 minutes
Yeah, and
into the game,
consistent
we have a
pressure in the bot lane.
CS lead for Set at the top lane, CS lead at the mid lane, and bot lane is pretty much even, like 4 CS gaps. So we have another gang at the top lane. The Kali will just shuriken out of that one. So Talon
Yeah,
is
and
hovering
it's
around
really
in the
for
top
Akali
lane as
up
well.
there. Whenever she tries to step ahead, the Evelyn's already there, and Sasibaka has been camping in the brushes whenever he can, tries to connect his Z. So it's really hard for him to play the game right now.
So they might be looking to actually dive the Akali again, knowing that she doesn't have flash, no shroud is set, ultimate will connect. Sasibaka is tanking the red, so he will move out. The shroud is just buying so much time, but the Evelyn ultimate comes in ahead. Meanwhile, in the mid lane as well, another hook lands from Rusty Panda, so Madrasi is going dangerously low, and that goes down as well. Flash engaged by the Leona will manage to trade one kill back onto the
Beautiful.
Ari now. Rusty Panda wants to just run, and the flash follow up from the Talon will end up getting the kill as well. So overall a 2-for-2 over 2 lanes.
Yeah, and 2-for-1 in the mid lane. That's really good timing from Shokya to come and help his mid laner out there. And so did the Leona as well. He, predicted the roam from Rusty Panda, although he was just a bit late, but helps the team get 2 kills. So good flash E onto Katrina Bot, locks him down and gets the kill.
Now, so that will result in the Infernal Drake towards the side of Fake 9.
Yeah, and although good
The
things
hook
have come out
connects
from
onto
Fake
the
9.
Leona, and the knockup will land as well. Katrina Bot gets actually rooted down by the Zenith Blade, so Madrasi takes down Katrina Bot. The trade will be there onto the Leona. Dominic is into the Talon, the exhaust connects, but Madrasi is trying to run for his life. I don't think he can survive that. So ending up in being a 2-for-1 for Temple of Kings, and they will get away with this red buff as well.
Yeah, and
Oh,
that's
but
why
looks like Shokya is not done yet. He will actually jump back in,
Sure.
greeting for the red buff. Jumps into 3 people. I'm not sure what that was about. So ends up giving another kill to the side of Temple of Kings. Now suddenly we have a 203 Evelyn with a 201 Samira.
Yeah, and that was really greedy from Shokya. But going back into the fight after the dragon died, Rusty Panda comes in, lands a sick hook onto the Leona. They do end up trading their Ari for it, but then Dominic gets the kill onto the Corki. And you can see the state of the top lane. It is so bad for the Akali. He's losing all his plates. He's down 20 CS. This is so hard to play. And Set is going to be
This
so
is really
massive
rough.
when he comes out for the team fights.
So the charm does
Nice charm.
connect onto the Corki. Corki goes down to about half HP. He will use his Valkyrie to get away.
Yeah, uses his package, gets out, and he's feeling the pressure in the mid lane as well, down almost 30 CS. The solo lanes for Temple of Kings are absolutely dominating Fake 9. Frodo and Madrasi are not having a good time in this laning phase at all.
I mean, top lane was just completely annihilated by pressure from Black Infinity. They managed to dive him like 2 times under 5 minutes, giving that much of a lead to the set. And in the mid lane as well, Rusty Panda coming in clutch with those hooks and giving the lead to his solo laners.
Yeah, and watch out for Rusty Panda. He's trying to roam again. He might end up going top and try to secure this Rift Herald or try to gank the Akali, who's getting ganked right now as we speak. So let's see how this goes.
We have Shokya in his ultimate right now. Leona does manage to take down the Samira. That was another fight in the bottom lane, but Sasibaka does end up taking down the Samira.
Yeah, and the kill goes to the Leona. The shutdown goal goes to the Leona, so that's really unfortunate for them. If that had gone on to the Caitlyn, she would be much stronger. They do get the kill though. Dominic dies isolated when his support was trying to roam into the top lane. Caitlyn, on the other hand, is gonna get 2 plates. She's feeling good about this game.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Temple of Kings will just go pick that Rift Herald up for themselves, looking to drop that in one of the lanes.
Yeah, and
Yeah, so
they should look
10
to
minutes.
put this Rift Herald in the mid lane.
Yeah, in the
Rusty.
mid lane, Rusty Panda might be space checking that, so he does manage to get rooted up, so I think he will go down. Katrina bot just bailed out. It's like, nope, I cannot help you right there, that's on you, buddy. So Rusty Panda goes down. There was no vision on the bot side. He should not have space checked that, but ends up getting down. So really good
Yeah,
engages coming from the Leona as well, so she's been all over the place.
yeah, and both the supports are trying to roam as much as they can. I think Rusty Panda should have expected that the Leona might be roaming because they had this recall from the bot lane, and she does have her Merc threads completed to match the roams if she can, and yeah, they end up picking Blitzcrank. Let's see, Black Infinity flashes in.
Above from the wall and managed to just delete Shokya's Talon. Really confident play coming on from Black Infinity. Now teleport lands as well. Dominic will go down. There's a 2-for-1 right now. The charm connects and will buy them some time to back off. The Shuriken will miss from the Ari, so that was that. Ended up being a 2-for-1 for Temple of Kings, but really confident play coming on from Black Infinity. Just flashes over the wall to take down the Talon.
Yeah, and Black Infinity knows his limits on the champion, flashes, uses his E, catches the Leona there, and speaking. Actually, one more fight.
Flashing forward for Katrina bot as well. A TP lands and Set will ultimate the Akali, but she will just ult out from the turret range. So the teleport timing did not work out. But Sasibaka managed to go down, stays for longer. The charm connects and Black Infinity trades that kill back onto the Akali. So really chaotic game going on. There's like fights every 30-40 seconds, 2-for-1s for both the teams. It's just like a mess all around.
Yeah, 12 minutes. We have 18 kills already, 9 of which Infinity is involved in. He has that Dark Seal stacked up to 10 stacks, and he's going to use the Rift. He'll get that plating gold as well. So he is really ahead. And we talked about this. If he gets ahead on his champion, which is Evelyn, he's just going to take over the game. And this is what it looks.
Oh, the Zenith Blade from the Leona will just miss, but the hook will not. Black Infinity
Oh, Black
Survives with 1
Infinity.
HP and actually managed to take down the ADC. The support, I mean, from the red team, Irvin will go down as well. So, oh my god, Black Infinity getting in clutch. Make sure he does not go down and ends up killing his opponent as well.
Yeah, really good play coming out from him. He knows the limits of his champions, so he's he's so strong right now. It's not much to say here. Dominic gets 2 plates in the bottom lane. He's getting ahead slowly in this matchup as well. Has his immortal shield bow completed, and Caitlyn does not. Her mythic completed, so the mid turret looks like it's gonna go down as well. So 10 plates right now for 10 of Kings. Make that
And there's
13.
like a global CS lead for Temple of Kings as well, and they're just slightly like running away from this game. The only saving grace for Fake Nine right now is that they do have the 2 dragons on their side, so they could be looking for that soul, which would be a Chemtech soul that we have right now.
Yeah, but 6,000,
And
6,500 gold lead to Temple of Kings. They're looking really strong
yep,
in this one. And Evelyn has completed her
the
Magi's. Of
Magi is
course, he does.
exactly. I mean,
He's
why
gonna
wouldn't he?
one-shot
The man
everyone
is
but
running
Fiona now.
really high on confidence. He's flashing over walls to get some kills, and he's just a menace right now. This is what we exactly expected out of Black Infinity's Evelyn. 407 completed the Hextech Rocket Belt and 10 stacks on Magi's. If I'm the Caitlyn in this game, I'm scared. I'm scared for my life.
As
But
you
really
should be,
beautiful
'cause
play
you're
coming
just gonna
on
get
from
one-shot.
Frodo. He actually almost hundreds to zero Dominic in a 2v1, maneuvering so well in that shroud. Just really unlucky to not be
But
able to get that kill. But we have this Evelyn who just walks up and is like, well, okay, I'll do what you couldn't do to my ADC.
yeah, and connects the charm, gets the kill really easy. Rusty Panda tried to predict the Talon jump, hooked on the other side of the wall. Of course,
Yeah.
Talon, no, playing mind game of his own, did not do that. So,
Oh, the
oh,
hook
that just
almost
barely missed.
connects onto the Korkia.
Yeah, but a lot of pressure coming out from Temple of Kings. They are pushing their lanes whenever they can. Set is playing bot lane on his lonesome. He is 40 CS ahead. He has 5 platings to his name, so he's so ahead as well. It's looking really rough for Fake 9, and I don't see how they come back in this one.
Oh, the Zenith Blade almost is so. You know, when I'm behind in my rank game like this, I do try to cheer up my team by saying, it's okay, we got late game. But do you think, do Fake 9 got the late game in this one?
Not with that Evelyn running around with 14 stacks on her Magi's. Even if you have the game, he is gonna find you in the backline and kill you. And what can you do about it?
The ultimates being
This is what we
traded
talked
from
about
the
as
set
well,
and the
Evelyn.
talent.
Yeah, Evelyn's just running around in the enemy team's jungle, and you really can't contest any camps right now. So you just have to give away all your jungle camps, and it's really
I mean,
unplayable for Shokia right now.
as if the Evelyn stealth wasn't enough, now we have the Chemtech Rift as well, giving some extra cells, so she will not be visible while doing camps as well. So just really rough and really good for the Evelyn, I guess. We
Yeah,
have a
and
skirmish
Talon
going on
burns
in
his
the bot
flash just to
side.
get out.
They might
They are
be
going
looking
for
up
the
to start this
second
Rift
Rift
Herald. Yeah. So there's
Got
like
the first one
no
as well.
tier 1 turret standing as well, so they will be looking to do some serious damage from this second one.
Yeah, and they can time it as well when the Baron comes out. You can just put the Rift Herald at mid lane and burn the Baron down since they are so ahead right now. Guessing Samira will pick up her second item as well. Lord Dominic's regard. So if they manage to play slowly like how they did not last night, they can just close this game out in the next 5-10 minutes.
I'm expecting them to do that because that would be a huge boost to their confidence as well, because they did manage to play really well early game, like early dives in the top lane, managed to get themselves a lead. Now it's just a matter of closing out the game and putting themselves on the board in this best of 5.
Yeah, and get winning that first game so convincingly as they look like they're gonna end up doing. It's really a confidence boost for the team as well. And the third dragon comes up, so let's see if Fake 9 decides to fight this one. But I really don't think they should because they're not strong enough right now.
Yeah, they would be on soul point if they do manage to get that, but I think they do realize that they are significantly behind in gold and there's like no way they actually end up winning the fight. But the hook will connect onto the Leona, but I don't think that's gonna matter. But Rusty Panda finds himself getting really low as well. The set will throw the Leona onto the enemy team. The Blitzcrank actually does manage to go down. Now we have a full-on team fight. Dominic doing a lot of damage from his ultimate, but going really low. Irvin actually manages to do a lot of damage standing behind and takes him down as well. Now what do we see? A Fake 9 actually cleans up Temple of Kings. So all of that started by Rusty Panda actually hooking in the Leona of all people and just goes completely south.
Yeah, and Rusty Panda, what are you doing, my man? He decides to hook the Leona, and none of his teammates were close enough for him to, you know, take that hook and follow up. So I have no idea what he was trying to do there. You can just take the dragon, look to play for the Baron, put the second herald down, but instead they try to fight and somehow lose the team fight. And we were just talking about how they should play slow and they
1
could
minute
end the game. But
ago you mentioned that they should play slow and not make any stupid mistakes, but Caster's curse, I guess. But
this happened
one
yesterday as well,
positive,
right? We
I guess
shouldn't
they
be
did end
surprised.
up. Yeah, they did end up getting the dragon at least.
Yeah, but the Corki
Now-
got a triple kill. He's gonna complete
Yeah,
2-3 items.
got
Remember, he was getting
shutdown.
smashed in the lane, and now he finds himself 1.5, 1.7k ahead of the Ari. So 2 items completed. He's really stuck right now.
Infinity losing out on his stacks as well, goes down to 8, so loses that passive from Magi, which gives him extra move speed. But state of the game still in favor of Temple of Kings. I would say like 5,000 gold ahead. All is not lost, but they cannot afford to do what they just did one more time. So I think the next play would be to set up Baron and try to secure that objective.
Yeah, but again, overly confident there from Rusty Panda and makes a huge mistake. You can't let the enemy team come back into the game when you find yourself 8 or 9,000 gold ahead, and this consistently happens with them. They find the huge leads. Infinity had 16 stacks, and they lost the team fight. Corki gets a triple. It has shifted the
And
balance
like
a bit, but not too
Corki,
much.
one of the worst champions to give so much gold to if you're in the enemy
Definitely.
team. He's just gonna get stronger as time goes by, and looking at the items, he does manage to complete the Ravenous Hydra, and he has the completed Muramana as well. So just looking for some engages in the mid lane. Leona actually manages to stay longer than expected, but actually works out in a favor. The set ultimate will go down, but Dominic doing a lot of damage with his ultimate in the lower half of your screen. So that will end up being a 1 for 3. So that I think the Leona actually overestimated her tankiness there, and that
Yeah,
would result in
and-
a Baron, I guess.
Yeah, 1 for 3, and it should be a pretty comfortable Baron for Temple of Kings. Fake 9 made the mistake of fighting. They were getting somehow, back into the game, but picked up the wrong fight. And
Oh,
Katrina,
Madrasi
what are
actually
you
just
doing?
blows up Ari and doing a lot of
This could
damage.
be
He can
really
actually
risky
get
now.
in here. He jumps in with the package and actually ends up taking down Black Infinity as well from that burn damage. Now Irvin is trying to take down Sasibaka, but he does not have the mana and he does not know who's behind him as well. Oh, a good hook lands onto the Caitlyn. Man, Rusty Panda is just too good on this Blitzcrank. And yeah, Kali, do you really want to go into that? So actually, Sasibaka just abandons the Blitzcrank, but he will flash into safety. So, a
Yeah.
lot to take in that fight.
Yeah, and 3 Baron buffs lost from the side of Temple of Kings. Madrasi made a hero play there. I have no idea what Katrina bot was trying to do there. He gets picked off, and Madrasi could have just killed all of them there if he didn't get exhausted. He did package in and he could have killed like 4 of them on his lonesome. But yeah, that exhaust was pretty clutch in that fight.
The Baron was like really low all that duration as well. I was thinking that Madrasi actually ended up stealing that, but Black Infinity does end up securing the Baron at least, otherwise it would have been a disaster. So another time Leona gets hooked in and it does not work in the favor of Rusty Panda, who will go down, but the set just RKOs the Talon into the enemy team. Katrina Bot jumps over the wall with his ultimate, will take down 2 people, so 4 for 1 going on in favor of Temple
Yeah,
of Kings.
and Katrina bought really nice timing on his arrival to the team fight, cleans up the backline pretty easily there. But I'm not sure why Rusty Panda keeps on hooking the Leona. These team fights are closer than they should be. Leona is really tanky right now. You don't want to touch her.
I mean, yeah, Dominic will run up into the Akali right here. Akali goes into the Shroud. The
Oh,
Flash Q will miss, but he does end up getting that last auto to secure the kill. So just catching out Frodo, Sasibaka will just casually ignore the Leona and smack down this inhibitor in the mid lane.
He does not give me. Yeah.
And he just
takes the inhib,
breaks down
kills the
Talon's
Talon
head
as well.
He's like,
Oh no.
I'll take you as well. So he ends up finding himself in a 1v4 of all things, and he's actually still alive. Still, Black Infinity arrives, and this is just ridiculous. This should not be happening. This is illegal. He's in a 1v4. He takes down the inhibitor. He smashes the Talon's head inside the ground. Stays alive till his jungler comes, and his jungler then ends up getting a kill as well. This is just ridiculous.
Yeah, and Leona tried to flash in and stun the set, but instead ended up stunning a minion. So that was quite funny as well.
It just feels
But
bad,
that set
man.
is so strong, and he ignores 2-3 of them, takes the inhib, and then kills the Talon as well. Like, yeah, that should be illegal.
We are
Temple of Kings are
25 minutes
10,000
into
gold ahead
this
now.
game. Yeah, 10,000 gold ahead, as you mentioned, and it looks like they had some hiccups in the middle, but they have brought that gold lead right back. So Dominic actually finding himself inside the enemy team's jungle, but maneuvers himself really nicely. But it is a Talon who will just smite him to death.
Yeah, and these little mistakes are really weird. I don't know why Dominic's trying to take the enemy Grom when none of his teammates are around. You can just chill. You can take your own camps, take the red, which is obviously Dead Corporal will end up taking that one. But
It's like,
it's
my
a
ADC
really-
is doing that, my ADC is not gonna get the
Yeah.
red buff anymore.
it's a really weird kill to give away, and it just slows the tempo down of the game.
Yeah. Now this set is trying to run down the Talon. The Talon will hop around a little bit to try to survive, but just so much damage coming on from Sasibaka. He has the red buff as well to slow him down, but the Talon, being Talon, will just hop away.
Yeah, good luck catching a Talon there. It's really hard to catch him anyway, especially when he's near these terrains and whatnot. So gets out easily, and the game has slowed down a bit. No objectives on the map, so let's see what the teams decide to do.
I mean, as we take a look at the gold as well, only Corki, the champion with a reasonable amount of gold in Fake 9.
Yeah, and he has to be the main source of damage now because he did end up getting so many kills. Has the package up right now, so this is a
Damage
slow
on
death
the
for them.
turret.
Finally, Temple of Kings have decided to slow it down and try to play for picks and take the objectives out.
Corki does have that package if a fight is to break down right now. Another fishing for hooks. Leona ultimate, the
Oh, and
solar
the Leona
blade
ultimate.
is used up but does not connect, so nothing comes out of that. So a huge ultimate on cooldown right now.
Yeah, and Ari is gonna use that Spirit Rush as well. Doesn't find the charm, so both the teams just looking for that pick, that one misstep that's gonna win them the team fight. But slow siege coming
So we
out
do
from
see
Temple of
Sasibaka
Kings.
actually pushing out from mid lane. A
Flash
flash
of
hook
misses.
will miss. The Zenith Blade does connect onto the Blitzcrank, who will end up getting blown up. Now Irving does take down the Blitzcrank, so Black Infinity does huge damage from the Evelyn ultimate. The Akali Shuriken is connected onto the Samira, so let's see if she tries to follow up on that, but doesn't look like she will. So ends up in being a 1-for-2 for Temple of Kings. But look at that damage from the set. W onto Irvin. That's gonna scare him away, but the Akali is gonna hide in her shroud. Gets to go behind Dominic, but Dominic will use that shield bow. The charm does connect on the Corki as well,
And this will be
and
the game.
he will go down. This should be game, yeah.
Yeah, really beautifully played by everyone on Temple of King's side. They prioritized their targets. Set ended up dealing massive damage to the Caitlyn, who fell to like 100, 200 HP in an instant. So that was the end of the team fight, and game one goes to Temple of Kings quite convincingly.
I mean, convincing, yes, but they still managed to, somehow throw away like 5,000 or 6,000 gold away while making silly mistakes. Like Rusty Panda hooked the Leona multiple times. It wasn't even like one or two times. He engaged the fight, hooking into the Leona, who then just survives with her aftershock and gets the CC onto priority targets inside the enemy team. So still, Temple of Kings have to polish up their game, but they had shown some really good early game fights as well, like diving onto the top lane, getting a lot of kills, getting Sasibaka ahead, who actually ended up using his lead like immensely and closed out the game.
Yeah, and a lot of hiccups from Temple of Kings, especially from Rusty Panda. He always seemed to be disconnected from the rest of the team, tried to flash hook multiple times, ended up getting caught here and there. But the solo lanes were so ahead, especially Dead Corporal on that set. It, I mean, the Akali could never get back into the game, could she? And Black Infinity as well on the Evelyn, consistently finding the backline, getting the kills. And it was always an uphill battle for Fake Nine, but Fake Nine did have their moment as well. Corki getting that massive triple kill in the Dragon fight, and then almost ended up destroying in the Baron fight as well, 1v4 essentially. So it was close till it wasn't, but a good game coming out from Temple of Kings anyway.
Yeah, definitely. Like talking about Black Infinity's Evelyn as well, I think he takes my MVP for this game hands down. Just we would assume like the Evelyn players would like look to farm till level 6 and not look at their lanes, etc. But this man was diving top lane from level 3, level 4, getting that set ahead and just completing the Magi's and not letting the enemy team's ADC play the game at all. So, who do you think was your MVP?
I mean, it has to be said the same for sure. Infinity on that Evelyn went to the top lane at level 3, got the first blood for his team, and then again diving the Akali on a massive wave, put her so behind that she could never come back in the game. And whenever there was a fight, you remember him flashing and then connecting his charm onto
The talent.
Caitlyn, was it? The Talon, sorry. Gets the kill there, and later on as well, after 2 minutes, gets out with a sliver of health. So he played to the champ's potential and stacked up the Magi quite early on as well. He was definitely the player that won them the game.
Definitely. So, I would expect that Evelyn to be banned away or at least picked up for Shokya. So, Shokya might be thinking, okay, I know how to play this champion as well. So, let's just take this away and, try to do what he did.
Yeah, and it sets up for a really hard pick and ban phase for Fake Nine now, because now they have seen that Dead Corporal and Black Infinity can switch roles. They are that versatile that either of them can play jungle or top. So it's gonna be really difficult for them to draft against this. So let's see what they decide to do. It was a really nice trick coming out from Temple of Kings to switch it up a bit, give the Evelyn to Black Infinity, and I don't think you can take that risk anymore. Either you pick it or you just ban it right now.
Then again, there's only so many champions you can ban in that first phase, and seeing that they're so afraid of Katrina bot's champions, the Katrina, the talent, that they just cannot afford to lose those two bans, and you have to ban the Elise as well, because if you don't, what Black Infinity did on Evelyn right now, Dead Corporal is gonna do the same thing on that Elise. So just this shows like the quality that Temple of Kings have in their roster, and just makes the draft phase that much harder for the enemy team to do. So, but there were some positives for Fake Nine as well in that game. They did manage to have sort of a mini comeback, and they did, have a few good counter gangs, and they can pick themselves up and not get demoralized, look at the positives and look to come back stronger in the second game.
Yeah, Willy Wonka played really well this game, I have to say, on the Leona. He was there whenever he could be to counter the gangs from Rusty Panda. He was matching the roams as well, did quite well in lane as well. Caught Dominic off guard when he was isolated in the lane. So a few positives here and there, but the laning phase has to improve from the solo lanes if they are to stand a chance in this series.
Guys, once again, this is a best of 5. So the first game is taken from Temple of Kings. So it is 1-0 right now. We will take a quick look at the scoreboard for the first game. So Kaka, walk us through this.
Again, massive goal lead. As you can see, 13,000 goal at 23-24 minutes is really, really massive again. Set dealing the most damage from Temple of Kings. Corki, as expected, deals the most damage. 27,000, the most in the game. So that's pretty good. That's something they can hold on to, and maybe try to pick the Corki first once again, because he definitely wasn't the problem. He did really well in the team fights. Yes, could improve the laning phase, but he was a threatening, yeah, threatening guy from the Fake Nine
I mean,
squad.
yeah, Corky was the person who almost brought the whole game back. Imagine, like, in the Baron fight, if he didn't get exhausted, he would, like, kill 3 or 4 people in the pit all on his own and manage to get the Baron as well, and the game would have flipped on his head completely. So, Corky pick working out really well in their favor. So, let's see
Yeah,
what
and
the
they
second
can't
draft phase brings.
they can't stress too much as well. It's just game one of the best of five series. Yeah, you lost this one, but you can't really, you know, get demoralized. It's a long series. You can always come back easily. So first game, lots to learn for either team, but let's see how that second game goes. And the pick ban should be really interesting.
So, like, you have played a lot of best of fives as well, and you would have found yourself being 1 games down or even 2 games down in a best of five and managed to come back to get a 3-2. We all remember that game against the Pakistani team. So what does the team leader talk about after losing the first game usually? Like, how do you come up?
I mean, you have to take each game as it comes, one game at a time. Yes, you lost the first game, but there are positives. You hold on to that. You see what you did right and where you can punish the other team, and just keep the mental. You can't lose the mental warfare, especially in the best of five, because that can be a downfall. But if you stay calm and just play to your potential and what you do best, then that makes up for a good series and a good comeback as well.
Definitely. So that was the end of game one. We are in the grand finals of the WD Black Cup season 2 of League of Legends, brought to you by AMD and Sky Esports. We will be back shortly after a break for game 2. So, guys, stay tuned. We will come back with game 2 of this best of 5 series, which is shaping up to be a really exciting series. And both of these teams have the quality to bring about good League of Legends. And let's see if Fake Nine can pick themselves back up from that loss and compose themselves and try to bring the series to 1-1, or whether let's see if Temple of Kings just puts the pedal to the metal really hard and clean up their game as well and just try to 2-0 and then eventually 3-0 the whole series.
Yeah, and that second game is gonna tell us a lot. If it ties 1-1, Fake Nine comes back, then it's gonna make up for a good series. But if Temple of Kings ends up winning the second game, then we are gonna be on to the match point, and then it's gonna look really bleak for Fake Nine.
Yeah, and you have that added pressure of elimination when you're 2-0 down, so maybe you're not making plays you would generally make. You don't play as freely as you would want to, and the nerves just start to get in and you would like make silly mistakes. So it's just not a ideal situation you would want to be in, the pressure of being 2-0 down. So this next game really really important for Fake Nine.
Yeah, and I cannot wait for it. Let's see how that second game goes. So right off the bat, from pick and bans to the end, really excited for the series.
Yeah. That will be it from us. Stay tuned for the second game. We will get into picks and bans shortly after a short break. Yeah. So we will pull up a few highlights from the first game as well shortly for you guys to see. There's the big plays and the things to look at, and it'll be fun to watch together as the first game unraveled. I'm really excited
Yeah, and I
to. I'm
can't.
looking forward to look at the dives at the top lane, the early on dives with the Evelyn just beautifully managing the turret hits and getting that set ahead.
Yeah, and in the fight in the bot side of the blue side jungle as well, where the Corki ends up getting a triple kill, it's going to be quite interesting as well. And obviously the
Yeah,
Baron
I mean
bit as well, where yeah,
that was the point where I thought that Templar Kings have messed up big time. They ended up giving away an ace. So, but they did manage to bring it back from there as well. And the Baron fight, as you mentioned, coming really down to the wire, and the Baron was like almost 100, 200 HP. So let's just have a look at that. What do you think was the main, you know, okay, turning point?
A summoner has disconnected.
Calibrating. Going somewhere?
A summoner has disconnected.
Live from Game 2 of the Grand Finals of the WD Black Cup Season 2 of League of Legends is brought to you by AMD and Esports partner Sky Esports. I am Fireball. Once again, casting with me is Kaka.
Hello, guys, and yeah, on to the second game. Hopefully, we'll be in the pick and ban soon. A really chaotic first game coming out, but Temple of Kings dominated that for most parts of the game. Had a few hiccups here and there, but really dominant.
I mean, yeah, they had a good early game, managed to get themselves a huge goal lead in like 15 to 20 minutes. But as we have seen, almost like a pattern with them, even yesterday in the semifinals, they do get a early on, but they end up throwing away that lead somehow. But they managed to recover quickly from that as well, didn't like throw it too far away. So let's just hope that this time they are not gonna play that sloppy and are able to close out the game quickly. And from the side of Fake Nine, let's hope that they have mentally reset and brought themselves back and are looking to take that this important first game and put themselves on the board in this best of 5 series.
Yeah, and if I'm fake time again, I'm looking at the laning phase. That's where things went south for them. Really out from Frodo in the top lane, fell so far behind, couldn't really come back into the game. Except for a few throws coming out from Temple of Kings, it was quite a clean game. You could say not a lot of opportunities for them to come back. And
We are
yeah,
talking
Fake Nine
about
have
the
have to brush it up.
laning. Talking about the laning, like every single lane was almost 20 to 30 CS ahead at 15 to 20 minutes. There was like a huge lane gap itself coming. Like even before we get on to the team fights, just the individual laning was lacking from the side of Fake Nine. They were really far behind in terms of CS, and even the trading patterns. The solo laners from Temple of Kings were trading really well onto the solo laners of Fake Nine, denying them CS and just making sure that they are kept in check.
Yeah, and if the laning phase goes that bad for mid and top, it makes it really hard for the jungler to play the game. He can't really gank mid or top, and then he has to look to just farm it out or gank bottom lane, and it makes it really difficult to be a jungler when your lanes are losing so hard. And that's what we saw. Black Infinity totally dominated from the jungle. He could play around all three lanes, set up ganks. He pulled off so much weight on the back of his laning, of his laners actually. So
Yeah, definitely. And another thing to look forward to is if Black Infinity would again play the jungle for game two, or will he go back to the top lane? Again, you can never tell that when you have two really good players who can swap roles. And talking about first game, do what kind of changes would you like to see from Fake Nine in the draft, like in bans or first picks, some sort like that?
I mean, if you're Fake Nine, you're definitely looking to pick up some early game champions for the laning phase. Try to improve on that. Try to get the lead and see how they play with the lead instead of being behind in gold. And it wasn't just like 1,000, 2,000. It was 10,000. It was 12,000 at the game. It became an uphill battle for them to come back in the get the leads of their own and hopefully close out the game if they do get the lead. So I would like to see them leading from the front, getting that goal lead and see how they play with it.
I mean, yeah, definitely. In even in the first game, they had the Caitlyn, like who should be doing better against the Samira somehow, and I would like to see early game champions as well. And like, but even if they do end up picking up early game champions, they should have the confidence to be aggressive and take advantage of that and try to make a lead for themselves. And we all know the Temple of Kings are not someone who go down early. Like all of the games, they have been really, really dominant early on, and they just kind of virtually end the game in the first 15-20 minutes as well. Is like because if you have like 10 lead at 16-17 minutes, it's just almost next to impossible to come back.
Yeah, that's really true. And let's see what they decide to pull off in the pick and ban because that's gonna dictate how this game goes as well. Bot lane did fine. Jungle obviously did what he could, but obviously he can do better. Black Infinity, again, we have to talk about him on that Evelyn. Can play top lane as well for Temple of Kings. So let's see what
Yeah,
happens,
let's
and
just
we are gonna go into the pick and bans.
dive right into the draft. I'm just gonna assume Temple of Kings are gonna ban out the Lulu once again. Yeah, they like, I guess, just do not want to play against that insanely broken support.
Yeah, and the same bans coming out for both the teams again. Lulu ban from Temple of Kings. Morgana again trying to, put the pressure on Fake Nine of that Blitzcrank, which I shouldn't be. They should be. I don't think they should be that scared of. But let's see what happens. Katrina ban from Fake Nine. Caitlyn ban is interesting.
So yeah, the Morgana against the Blitz. I mean, the Blitz was landing all his hooks, but like half of his hooks were onto the Leona, which ended up backfiring. So now we do actually see the Caitlyn ban coming on from Fake Nine. So either one of Kiana or Elise will be left open to pick up for Temple of Kings. So I'm really excited to see how this ban phase comes up ahead. Temple of Kings do have the first pick. So instead they're looking to ban out the Corki.
Yeah, and they are gonna leave the Kiana open and see how Katrina bot does on it. That
Oh, so
that
they're
Kiana has been banned
yeah.
throughout the tournament. So
So they're inviting Katrina Bot to actually pick those champions. Now, as we said, Elise was left open as
Elise.
well, and Dead Corporal has gotten to high challenger, like top 15, top 20 challenger on the Garena server playing that Elise. So as we see, Evelyn is open as well. So this Temple of Kings are having the problem of deciding between two broken champions. So that's a good problem to have. So they ended up deciding on the Evelyn. So I'm just gonna assume Black Infinity is gonna play that Evelyn once again. So another thing that Evelyn pick does is take that away from Shokya. So a really good pick, I guess.
Yeah, and a very early Vayne pick coming up, so I'm not too sure about that one because and Brom as well. This they're just setting up their bot lane to match whatever Temple of Kings throw at them. But the Vayne pick is really interesting, Faisal. What do you have to say about that?
I mean, Vayne first pick definitely not something you see that commonly. Very short range AD carry who wants to scale up, not the best early games. There are other champions who do well into Vayne, so that's why they have taken that Brom as well to help protect that Vayne early on, make sure she scales properly. So they just blind pick their duo lane, giving more priority to the solo laners so that they can get some sort of a counter.
And I would have loved to see Temple of Kings picking up a range support to punish that Vayne and Brom, but that's not how Rusty Panda likes to play the game. He likes to roam, he likes to hook people, picks up the Nautilus, and the Kiana might come in here, so that's
Oh, just do it. I just want to see why everyone is so afraid of the
Kaisa
Kiana, but
Nautilus.
I get we're not gonna get that. So, Temple of Kings respond with the bot lane of themselves as well. No reason to pick up the solo laners and show what they wanna play when they can have the counter as well. So they ended up taking the Nautilus and Kaisa against the Brom and Vayne. So pretty similar play style actually. Now that I see Kaisa for Vayne, Kaisa wants to farm as well in the early games, and Nautilus is just gonna support her with his passives and making sure that he provides all the CC that Kaisa needs to maneuver around the team fence. Now actually the Kindred will be picked up by Shokya and the Kiana ban is there.
Yeah, and Shokya has been known to one trick this Kindred. He has gotten multiple accounts to Diamond on the back of that Kindred, so it's a really scary pick coming out from him. One of his most comfortable champions as well. So he's feeling comfortable. They are going back to their comfort zone, picking up the Vayne, picking up the Brom, which is so easy to play against Nautilus and other melee champions, and then Kindred. So Fake Nine going back to comfort. Let's see how this ends up going. Do ban out the Kiana though, and the Camille ban as well from last game. So the bans are quite similar except for the Corki, but the picks have been so different.
Yeah, completely different picks going on. The Gangplank is banned away from Dead Corporal in that top lane. Do not want to deal with that. So let's see what the final ban from Temple of Kings is gonna be.
And it's gonna be the Gwen, which Infinity plays quite a lot, but I'm not too sure if Red Corporal does. And since Infinity is gonna play the Evelyn, they decide to ban both the Camille and Gwen against Frodo. And we talked about this in the game one as well, that Frodo is one of the carry points for Fake Nine. He's so good in the top lane. He dominated the last time we saw him. Didn't have his best game in the last one, but is going to get the counter pick here. And Victor gets picked. He's so strong right now.
Yeah, with the new item, especially Crown of the Shattered Queen, he just gets so tanky and is able to scale that much better. So Temple of Kings respond to the victor by hovering a Veigar for Katrina bot. So they ended up taking the Malphite. So Malphite could go mid, could go top.
That's definitely going to be top lane Malphite. And Malphite is a good pick here. Victor is so immobile. You can just burst him with the Evelyn, and Malphite dive the back line pretty easily. You can just ignore the Brom. Can even one shot the Kindred if she doesn't press R in time. You're just going to get one shotted by the Malphite. So it's a really interesting and a really good coming out from Dead Corporal on the Malphite.
Yeah, Lucian. So mid, I am assuming against the victor.
Yeah, Lucian mid is gonna have a lot of prio for the Evelyn. Again, playing really strong mid jungle composition. Evelyn Lucian have been prominent for quite a while now. And Lucian, although you know, did get tweaked into the bot lane, but he's still strong in the solo lanes. And Silas pickup, I really like that.
So yeah, as we mentioned before, Frodo did do really well on that Silas, so he ends up getting that one. So he'll be looking to prove himself again because he didn't have the best of first game, so maybe he's looking to bounce back. He is on his comfort pick right now. And looking at the ultimates he has the Malphite ult, the Nautilus ult, the Evelyn ult, so like really good ultimates available for the Silas to take over team fights.
Yeah, and it's a really good matchup into the Malphite as well in the top lane, because against a Malphite, you don't want to play AD champions. You're going to get slowed. He will end up stacking armor, and then you can't kill the Malphite, but the Silas does AP damage, and of course, he can steal the Malphite ultimate, the Unstoppable Force, and it's a huge ultimate to steal. And if you can get a team fight and try to, end up one-shotting the backline, then it's such a nice pick.
Yeah, and Kindred, good pick against the Evelyn as well. So if Evelyn is not ridiculously fed and is just not deleting you in the blink of an eye, if the Kindred is nearby, she can protect the Vayne and the Victor from getting one shot. So a really strong composition coming out from Fake Nine. So I am looking forward to see how they play out the early game. So if they manage to keep Temple of Kings at bay, and survive the early aggression that we have seen coming out from Temple of Kings, they have a pretty decent chance, I guess, later on.
Yeah, and they have put their eggs on the Irvin basket as well, picking that Vayne first pick with the Brom to protect her, and they're really gonna hope that the Vayne ends up coming out of the bot lane with a lead or something to carry the game. So let's see how this one goes. Really interesting bot lane matchup as well. Kaisa, Nautilus versus Brom and Vayne could end up seeing a lot of fights down there.
Yeah, and we do know how much Rusty Panda loves to go in. So we are getting into game two of the grand finals. And I think with the Nautilus, they might be looking to get some sort of an invade or counter invade,
Yeah, and
just camp that
we could
bush.
see a level 1 team fight.
Although chains
And the
actually do
chains
manage to
connect.
connect. There's no follow up CC, so nothing comes out of that. Some damage onto the mid laner, the top lane, sorry, and he will just look to recall and walk back top lane. So, and
Yeah, and
not.
let's go over the runes pretty quickly as well. Kaisa with Hail of Blades. Malphite runs the Arcane Comet to make his laning phase a bit easier. Lethal Tempo is quite common now. I was surprised last night, but not anymore. Shokia running that Lethal Tempo on the Kindred.
Mhm.
Vayne as well running that Lethal Tempo. Both the ADCs are going to play with Exhaust and Flash, so it's going to be a very interesting matchup in the bot lane with so many, battle summoners to play around.
Yeah, and we do have the first strike for that Victor, the new rune, which just gives more damage and gold. So Black Infinity will start the blue buff, and we see
But
Dominic
the Kaisa
coming,
might get caught here.
yeah, into the Brom passive is sticking onto him, will get stunned up. The flash follow from Irvin, I'm not sure about that, but now Rusty Panda finds himself in trouble, will flash forward. Hook connects onto the terrain, but I think this is going to be first blood for Irvin, and yeah, tumbles forward. There's 400 gold in the pockets, and Dominic getting really low as well. Irvin actually trying to dive the turret, and he does manage to get the second kill as well, which
Oh.
will be traded back, but completely worth for Dominic, for Irvin, sorry.
Yeah, and level 1 shenanigans coming out from Dominic and Rusty Panda. They tried to ward the blue buff, see where the Kindred starts, but end up playing with their lives. 2 kills for the Vayne, and she started so well. Who gets the long sword? It's gonna be a really.
Yeah, managed to get the long sword and the boots. The boots are gonna help to dodge that Nautilus hook that much, and just a complete disaster start in the bot lane for Temple of Kings.
Yeah, and no summoners to play around with for Dominic and Rusty Panda, so they have to be really careful. And Frodo trading heavily in the top lane could end up going down here.
Yeah, Frodo does use his flash to survive. Does get the level 3 right now, so if he got that level 3 before, he could have saved his flash, but was not able to take down the minion to get that. But we do see Infinity looking to get that full clear as well. Madrasi trading heavily with Katrina bot. The Lucian is just so oppressive to play against in lane.
Yeah, he really is. But the Victor does have corrupting pods, so he can chug on those and
Yeah.
survive in the laning phase for quite a bit. Huge wave crashing towards Temple of Kings, and we could see Kindred come down for a dive here.
Yeah, we do
Instead,
see
she's gonna
actually
take that mark.
the chains
Yeah.
connect onto Sasibaka and the
Oh.
flash will be late and Frodo does manage to get a solo kill onto Dead Corporal in the top lane. So things looking really good for Fake 9 early on. Solo kills coming around on the top lane and as well as the bot lane at level 1.
Yeah, and really well played by Frodo. Didn't have the flash, but connected everything that he had to. Sasibaka ended up burning the flash and still went down, so that's gonna be bad for him. He's gonna struggle in the top lane. Now Kindred is looking top after Sasibaka had to burn his flash, so let's see how that goes. But good play coming out from the bottom lane and the top lane. We were talking about how the solo laners have to play better. Well,
Meanwhile, a
getting a
hook
solo kill
connects
is
onto the bot lane, but it is the Braum, so they do not overcommit onto that as the shield will stop significant amount of Kai'Sa's damage.
yeah, and the things are coming out at top lane. Black Infinity is looking to gank the top lane as well. Gets the Scuttle Crab, and Silas does not have flash, so if he uses his E, he might end up going down.
Yeah, we just looked that he will just use his abscond and run back to the safety of the turret, and we saw Shokya is near the top lane as well for the counter gank, protecting his flashless top laner. So we see another ping going down from Black Infinity, so maybe they're looking to dive this. So
Yeah, but the
Shokya,
but the Kindred is there to counter this. So
yeah,
let's see.
Shokya smartly just expecting this dive, and this that shows sign of a good jungler. You know, you think about what the other jungler might be trying to do as well. So he's the reason that Frodo is still alive right now. So really well played by Shokya.
Yeah, Shokya pathing really well. Stood in the Tribrush for quite a long to Frodo had to get that huge massive wave, and he escorts it. So good play coming out
Another
and
Malphite
huge
out
trade
of
coming
mana.
in the laning is from this game. He is freezing the wave. It's not too far behind CS. He has a wave to catch as well. Gets the solo kill. Gets the Merc Tread. So he's gonna survive for longer there. And good play coming out from him now.
Now the ultimate actually being used up by Madrasi to get a trade and maybe try to force the Lucian away from this wave so he can crash this. Shokya helps him push it out as well because the Victor is out of mana. He is looking to recall, but he goes dangerously low. And we have a fight in the bot lane as well. Katrina bot actually does manage to take down Shokya in the mid lane. Now Irwin going dangerously low, but will kite away. Gosu right here and does manage to take down Rusty Panda. So we get a overall 1-for-1.
A 2-for-1?
2-for-1. Yeah, the Victor actually manages to go down as well. So Katrina bot gets 2 kills in the mid lane in a 1v2, and Irwin beautifully
but
kites
this-
away to
this-
take down Rusty Panda.
This bot lane has to be the focal point for False 9 now. They just need to relax in the other lanes and let this Vayne do her job and carry this game because she's so far ahead now. Even in the CS, 3 kills to 1 of Dominic and Nautilus. Rusty Panda deciding to fight between the minions. Tries to ignite and couldn't really finish the kill off and
Yeah.
ends up dying.
Vayne came dangerously low to dying, but Kai'Sa was not able to help out. Like, it was just the Nautilus trying to just slam the anchor onto Vayne's head. Now we see a hook landing on the mid lane. The charm will connect as well, and this is like beautifully played. 3-man gank coming onto the mid lane, giving another kill to the Lucian. Now Lucian is getting really scary right now, but the red team will end up getting the dragon. The Braum passive will actually stop the Nautilus hook. So Vayne gets her 4th kill. Now they are moving ahead. The hook, the Braum Q lands onto the Evelyn as well, but
Vayne.
oh no, Irwin gets a little more excited and flashes forward into the turret, ends up going down and giving up a huge shutdown to the Lucian actually.
Yeah, and bites off more than he can chew. Good flash E, but couldn't finish off the kill and ends up paying with his life there. Katarina bot connected his piercing light and gets the kill on the Vayne, and a huge shutdown going off to him. And 4-0 on the Lucian at 8 minutes. That's really
Right.
huge.
And make that 5 right
Make
now.
that 5.
Yeah. While Frodo does have the ultimate of the top lane, but Frodo does not have any kind of mana, but the mana is not required to use Silas ultimate after he has stolen it, so he will use that to run away. Shokya
Black
is there to
Infinity does not have
protect
his
him.
ultimate here.
Yep. Frodo completely out of mana, the chains are gonna miss, so I'm not sure what he is gonna be able to do as they try to chase, but end up stopping. So a lot going on right there, and the Vayne comes back with completed Berserker Greaves and a Vampiric Scepter, and Lucian is just sitting on so much gold right now. Recalls, so I think he might be able to complete significant. Yeah, he just completes straight up his Gale Force.
At 8 minutes.
Oh, a 3-man
dive
gang
in the
coming
top
on
lane.
to the top lane. Shokya will go down. The Nautilus lands his hook, but Sasibaka ends up
I think
tanking the
Sasibaka
turret.
disconnected there.
Yeah, and going down. So we have a pause, but as of now, it is a 1-for-1. I
And
think
we are
some
gonna
kind
go
of
into the
yeah
pause,
connectivity issue maybe. Oh, a lot going on in the game actually. We've been only 10 minutes into the game, 11 kills going on. Temple of Kings still in a goal lead, about 2000 goal lead. And this Lucian is looking really scary, Kaka.
Yeah, and we talked about it in the pick ban as well, that Nautilus pick from Rusty Panda. They did lose the lane, and double kill for Silas actually, and Dominic might get dove here.
So the Braum ultimate will miss and it will be turned away from the side of Dominic. The exhaust will make sure that the Kaisa survives, and the Lucian is just so far ahead. There's no way the Vayne stood a chance against that beast. So the dive is completely backfiring from the side of Irwin and Aladdin. So
And
rough, looking
really
rough.
good play coming out from Katrina bot. He predicted the dive at the bot lane. He was there when they decided to dive him, gets a double kill for himself, saves his bot laner as well. So good play coming out from him. 7 kills, 700 gold shutdown, 10 minutes,
7
2
kills
plates,
at
18
10
CS.
minutes. Oh my god, this
He
Lucian
is
is
playing
going
out
to
of
be a
his mind in
problem.
this game.
Yeah.
He already is a problem.
30 CS in the lead almost. Now we do see the duo lanes moving on now. He will just straight up use the culling onto the Vayne, but I think he bit off a little more than he can chew, and a huge shutdown goes down to the Vayne. In the top lane we have a fight as well. Frodo walking up ahead, but uses the Evelyn ultimate in the wrong direction, but did he? Almost takes down the Malphite as well. The chains will connect, so he fought till the last breath in the top lane, almost taking down Sasibaka in a 2v1, but ends up going down there. So a lot going on in that.
Yeah, but we have to talk about the Vayne as well. Gets the 700 gold shutdown. We were just talking about how good Katrina bot was doing, and Caster's Curse dies within 10 seconds of saying that.
Yeah.
Vayne is so ahead as well in this match. When he can totally game. He has been playing so well.
Yeah,
He
that
must have his
exhaust
first item
coming in
completed
clutch
as well.
to just shut down the Lucian damage, and with the Braum passive, it's just like, what can you do? Braum has to auto attack you once, and then that's it. The hook will
Yeah, and he
connect
got
onto the
exhausted as well.
Kindred. The Nautilus ult will follow it up, and Lucian will just Gale Force in the point and click. Very good champion, Nautilus. Love him.
Picks up another kill, the Lucian, and he's again. It's all about the Lucian versus the Vayne in this game. I feel like Lucian, obviously, so far ahead, has the Sheen as well. He's
Oh,
gonna
what
complete his
was that
essence rework.
hook out of nowhere? Actually backfire for Rusty Panda. Like, that hook just curved between like 3 minions and connected onto the Braum, but again, Rusty Panda's hook choices little questionable. Like, he was hooking the Leona last game, he ends up hooking up the Braum. I'm not even sure if he meant that. That hook looked like it was just like the last pixel of the hitbox, but ends up going down. So another kill for the Vayne. So Vayne's getting dangerously ahead as well.
Yeah, and Faisal, you can't fish for hooks at all in the bot lane. The Vayne is so ahead, and the Braum just has to right click on the Nautilus once for Vayne to get the kill. She is so ahead. Look at her items:
Oh.
Immortal Shield, Bow. Katrina bot goes
Madrasi,
very
I'm not
low.
sure what that was. He expected to burst the Lucian with his combo and uses his flash to escape, but the Lucian just gonna survive. Rusty Panda does manage to lock up the Braum. The Braum is looking to get the W, but a good not the Malphite ultimate landing onto two people in the backline. The Kindred ultimate which keep them alive. Now we see Frodo's actually stealing the Malphite ultimate, but does manage to go down as well. So double kill coming on for the Lucian. Now Sasibaka is chasing Madrasi and he's gonna throw this tire at his face and just gonna laugh and walk away. So ends up being a 4 for 0 for Temple of Kings.
Yeah, in 12 minutes, 4,000 goal lead, all on the back of this Lucian, who's 10-1-1, is gonna take the first turret as well. Got a few plates for himself, and he's so strong right now. He's navigating these team fights really well.
I mean, the Vayne is
Vayne
getting
might
caught
go
up
down
once
here.
again. Yeah, and the
Yeah.
teleport into 3 people in a 1v3. Frodo looking to land the chains, will take down the Nautilus as well. The another TP is coming on to support Frodo. Frodo doing really well. The gravity will keep him
the
down, but
Lucian's
he
here now.
flashes on to Katrina, but almost manages to take down the Lucian. Lucian is gonna survive with like 100 HP, but the Victor is trying to do a lot of damage as well. The Braum ultimate will connect onto the Evelyn, but no follow-up. So just look at the HP bars of Katrina, Bot and Dominic right there. So unlucky for the Victor to not pick up those kills.
Yeah, and Fake 9 really unlucky not to get anything out of that team fight. Silas ends up going down as well for the Nautilus, which I do not think was a good trade for him. And Lucian, Kaisa, everyone surviving on blinking HP bars. It's really unlucky.
In Victor 04 just has that one item completed, that's why he couldn't deal as much damage on. Like counterpart to that, Lucian has completed 2 items already sitting on that pickaxe.
2.5
You do not
items in
want
4
to be
minutes.
near that Lucian anywhere.
No, you cannot mess with this Lucian at this point. If he decides to go bot lane, you go to the top lane and try to farm out instead of facing him. He is strong. And
I mean, the
not a
Vayne,
lot of objectives up on the map. They're gonna.
the Vayne is looking to work towards that wit's end, looking at so much magic damage coming out from the side of Temple of Kings.
Red team's turret.
I mean, you
Frodo-
can stack up all the MR you want, but that is
Yeah,
so
Frodo
strong.
does
He's just
go
gonna
in.
one-shot you.
Forcing Sasibaka to use his ultimate to escape.
And Sasibaka on that Malphite has
Oh,
fight
Katrina
assist,
Bot
has paid
actually
a lot of
finds
times.
Shokya, and guess what? You just take blink of an eye and he's just gone. Shokya doesn't even use his ultimate. It's like, what's the point of using it?
Yeah, really dominant from the Lucian and Evelyn as well. Infinity silently has been doing his job as well, but the Lucian is definitely the star of the show right now.
The Silas uses up the culling. The Winter's Bite does connect on to Black Infinity, but is not gonna do a lot. He's just gonna escape from his ultimate. Now Braum getting dangerously low. Nautilus ult will connect on to the Vayne, but not gonna do much. Dominic actually diving in with the Kaisa ultimate manages to pay with his life, so ends up being a 1-for-1.
Yeah, Dominic decided to go to the back line and get
Kindred actually dashes into the Nautilus. The Kindred ult will buy a lot of time, so it is a 1-for-1 right now. Katrina Bot does take down Frodo, but Madrasi ends up getting the kill onto Rusty Panda and Dominic as well, who goes down. Okay, Dominic did go down before, so that was a 1-for-1.
lot of fights going around. 2016 minutes, 14 of those on the Lucian. He's probably going to complete his third item when he goes to base, so he's so strong. And yeah, lots of team fights for no reason, but
Like,
look at that.
absolutely
Lucian has 2,200 gold.
like a bloodbath of a game going on right now. 17 minutes and 35 kills, so this fight's going all around. I mean, look at that. Lucian has 11,000 gold. 11,000. The next closest person is the Vayne on 8,000. It's like Lucian is just, he has skipped the early game part completely. He's just morphing on this lobby right now.
Yeah, he is more than double the gold of the enemy mid laner right now. He's so far ahead. This is gonna be really rough for Fake 9 to come back from.
The dragon is gonna be spawning, so it is a infernal rift that we have right now. So a good combat soul, they do not want to give that up, but Fake 9 does. I mean, Temple of King
They do
does
group
end up
around at the
taking
Infernal
the
Dragon.
Rift Herald, yeah.
Yeah, and Katrina bot has completed his Infinity Edge as well. If you thought that Lucian was strong, look at him now.
I'm
And I can't
afraid
wait to see
for
his
the
damage
enemy
multiplied.
team. So the Nautilus hook does connect onto Frodo, and Frodo does end up taking the Malphite ultimate. He will dive the backline and almost takes down the Nautilus, but I don't know if you want to focus the Nautilus. A good hook connects onto the Vayne, and Temple of Kings just clean up this team fight, losing only Katrina bot in the whole process, who actually was in a 1v2 on his own on the bottom side.
Yeah, and even through the exhaust, he ended up picking the Vayne for himself in a 3v1 maybe. And yeah, mid and hip goes down. Really one-sided team fight coming out from Temple of Kings.
I mean,
16 and 2 on the Lucian is so,
yeah.
it's so good. It's amazing how well he's been playing.
Frodo's looking to lock up Black Infinity in his own jungle, and Infi is trying to run away. Those Evelyn Qs are starting to add up, but Frodo is gonna end up killing him and picks up the 650 gold as well. Dominic doing a lot of damage onto Shokya, but he goes down as well. So 2 loose kills being thrown away from the side of Temple of King.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be surprising. They always do this. That Gromp is always been Dominic or Infinity's downfall, because I don't know, they consistently find
Big
massive
Malphite ultimate
Malphite.
coming in. 3-man Malphite ultimate coming on from Dead Corporal right there. So double kill picked up from the Lucian. So they might be looking to do the Baron on spawn right here.
Yeah, and they could, because the Lucian has 100 or 90% critical chance right here, and he can melt that Baron quite easily. So it shouldn't be out of their reach right now. They have taken the mid enemy as well. 7,000, 6,000 gold lead.
I mean, I guess all 6,000 of that gold lead is on that. Oh my god.
Oh
look
my
at that.
God.
It is so disgusting. Oh! The piercing light almost misses, but he's just gonna follow that up with 2 auto attacks. And I don't know what you're supposed to do against this Lucian right now. There's nothing you can do.
I mean, you really can't do much now. He has 3 items, 4.5 items completed. He's so strong, 18 and 2. He's just playing out of his mind right now. He has more kills than the whole enemy team combined. That's how far
That
ahead
just
he
shows
is right
something. He is looking for a culling. He flashes forward onto the Silas and getting a little cocky right there, but manages to survive. The Silas will go down now. No, Silas actually
barely
survives with 1
survives.
HP. The Victor goes down. Black Infinity will just flash ignite the Silas. Sasibaka's ultimate is back up, will knock up the Vayne. The Vayne ultimate buys her sometime, will get rooted up from the Nautilus. He is doing quite a bit of odd walking right there. He does take down both of them. So Irvin coming up huge, takes down the third member as well, just surviving so long with that immortal shield bow. Gets a triple kill. So Temple of Kings just threw away their Baron.
And this is becoming quite common in all of their games. Whenever they get the Baron, they decide to fight the enemy team for some reason and let them come back into the game. Irwin gets the triple kill. He was kiting really well there. It looked like he was going to go down for a minute, but then he just kills everyone in his path. So
And Katrina bot
Oh
just
my
gale
God,
forces
that
in
damage.
and one shot both of them.
20 and 2 on Lucian.
Katrina bot has 20 kills at 22 minutes. So yeah, minions don't even spawn for the first like 1.5 minutes. So that just shows you what he's been doing throughout this game. And now Frodo's trying to ambush Katrina bot. I'm not
I
sure if
do
this is
not-
gonna
you don't
work
want to do
out in
this.
his favor. And the Braum shield will protect him. The Winter's Bite does connect, so I don't think much is gonna come out of that now. Katrina Bot is in a 3v1, actually will go down. So 1000 gold goes towards the victor. Katrina Bot staying up in the top lane alone for quite a bit, trying to 1v3 the enemy team. So now like 0 members of Temple of Kings have the Baron right now. So
Yeah.
pretty sure that was a negative Baron power play coming out, but Take 9 suddenly find themselves getting those huge shutdowns. Vayne is absolutely massive, completed 3 items. Now Victor got his second item as well.
And the Lucian's gonna be down for the dragon fight, and this would be sole point for Fake 9. So even though the game was slipping away from them, this could be the turning point that they were looking for.
Yeah, Lucian does not have the teleport as well, so I think Fake 9 would be looking to start up a fight or this dragon as soon as they can, as long as they have numbers advantage. So Malphite ultimate has been picked up by the Silas, so that's gonna be a huge determinant, and Temple of Kings do respect that and just give away the dragon. So the dragon with an objective bounty, mind you, as well. So a lot of gold being brought back. The hook is slightly gonna miss. Sasibaka is just threatening a huge Malphite ultimate. Does manage to end up getting 2 people. The Kindred ultimate is gonna keep Take 9 alive for the time being, but Madrasi is left unchecked in the background. But the Evelyn is just doing so much damage, and as soon as the Vayne goes down, Take 9 have to retreat. So it ends up being a 3-for-3 actually. So even team fight going on, and the Baron, the Dragon, sorry, is picked up from Fake 9 as well. So I guess good for Fake 9 overall.
Yeah, and trading kills works in the favor of Fake 9 right now because they are so behind in gold. They do pick up the dragon as well, so the objective lead is growing. They are onto the soul point as well, so it's a good team fight coming out from them, and they come out on top for sure because of how the trades have gone. Lucian, Kaisa, Malphite, all 3 of them went down, and Vayne picked up Lucian again. So
I mean,
even he has 3
looking
items.
at
You
the-
can't sleep on the Vayne anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Looking at the gold difference, we are seeing a 6,000 gold difference, but all 6,000 of that is present on the Lucian. So if you manage to take care of the Lucian somehow, suddenly it's an even fight. Like you mentioned, 6,000 gold ahead from the victor. And like Lucian is just gonna fall off later on. Lucian not the best champion later on when compared to a Vayne or a Victor. So I think Temple of Kings have to be proactive right now and try to end this game up like while they are in a huge lead.
Yeah, and interesting item build coming out from Kaisa. He is going for that poke Kaisa. I really haven't seen that much, but I haven't played this game for so long.
I mean, yeah.
Speaking of
like
which,
recently,
Yeah.
even in Korea, the full AP kind of Kaisa is being built more than attack damage or something. But Rusty Panda is gonna get caught up and actually manages to survive for quite some time because of that. Aftershock does go down. Shocka ends up getting that kill as well. So slowly this Kindred is accumulating kills for herself as well, and I'm sure she has at least 4 stacks, which is like the sweet spot to get that extra range and damage.
Yeah, and these isolated picks are letting Fake 9 come back into the game. They are slowing the tempo down from Temple of Kings, and if you're Temple of Kings, you just have to make it through that second Baron, and when you get it, you try to end the game, or this is going to be really hard for them if the game goes late, which it
Yeah,
looks like
if,
it might.
if I'm Fake 9 right now, I'm gonna feel pretty confident in the ability to close this game out. Like the Vayne is really strong. You just play for the Vayne, make sure that Lucian is not just blowing her up in 1 second, and then just let her do her thing. We already saw what Irvin can do. He was in a 1v3 and manages to fight them all and get a triple kill. So I think the game is on the Vayne's shoulder for Fake 9, and on the side of Temple of Kings, they just have to secure this Baron and play smartly and not just give away kills.
Yeah, and Temple of 9 can't afford to make the same mistakes that they've been making for the last 10-15 minutes. Even the last game, they can't throw this game anymore because if the Vayne goes out of hand, which he already has.
And as soon as they see like 3 people in the bot lane, the Baron is just gonna be taken away. So they give away this Baron for free. Not gonna contest that, thinking they would not be able to fight it. So confident in their
Yeah, and a
ability to defend.
good call from Temple of Kings to pick up that Baron while the Lucian was splitting in the bottom lane, and they have to make this one count, because if they can't win on this one, and the Dragon's coming up in 1 minute as well, so if they don't end the game with this Baron, then it's gonna be really hard for them, especially if the Infernal Soul gets lost from them.
Yeah, so Temple Kings are running down this top lane with the Baron buff. They do end up getting the tier 2 turret. They will recall, seeing as whole of Fake 9 have recalled.
And they will manage to get to the Dragon Pit first and get their vision down to the onto the blow side jungle of Fake 9, so this will set them up really well for this dragon fight.
I think, yeah, very important fighter coming on right now. Like,
Yeah, and keep an eye on Black Infinity in this one. He has picked up the elixir as well to maximize his damage for this fight, and he has 3 items with that white staff. He's gonna look
yeah,
to pick up
potentially
the
the
lane of
final fight of the game.
Kindred. Yeah.
Sasibaga does take the Malphite ultimate, Silas does take the Malphite ultimate, will actually go on, but he lands the Malphite ultimate onto the Nautilus only. Evelyn not getting picked up, will flash away to safety, but Evelyn does manage to get the kill onto the Bronze. The Kindred ult not able to save that, but Irwin manages to go down, but he does take down the Kaisa in the process as well. Now the Victor looking to do a lot of damage, so a 3-for-2 coming out in favor of Temple of Kings, but Katrina bot is dangerously low right now, so I do not know if they want to actually do this dragon.
So they might end up picking up the dragon anyway, because Black Infinity has a lot of health and he is the only jungler alive in the game, has the smite, but that was a really close fight, and if not for Katrina bot's GA, Urban could have definitely carried that fight alone.
Yeah.
Which he almost did as
well. Irwin almost did as well. Yeah, exactly. If he gotten like one more auto attack somewhere, he would have gotten that lifesteal back to stay alive. But really unfortunate that Frodo landed his Malphite ultimate onto the Nautilus. Only the Evelyn was standing right there. Now, if the Evelyn got knocked up and that, they would have all just jumped the Evelyn and the team fight would be completely different. And then again, Shokya's ultimate a little slow as well, could not save his teammate from the Evelyn assassination. So that just shows how close these team fights are. There's like the margin of error is really low. But Katrina bot actually gets caught out, almost gets taken down, but the culling will keep him alive. Frodo not able to finish off on that kill.
Yeah, and really greedy from Katrina bot trying to take that blue buff with that HP bar, but manages to get out anyway. He is at 5 items, and the Vayne is getting closer to her 5th item as well.
Yeah, the Katrina bot is has been full build for quite some time now, so he's not gonna get any more stronger. This is his full potential right now. So if they can survive this onslaught from the Lucian, it is a good point for Take 9. And the the Victor slowly has built his way up to 3 items as well, so he's gonna be a real problem too. So even if I'm Fake 9, I'm still pretty confident as the game goes on to 30 minutes. So as long as the game just goes on, the goal lead matters less and less, as the major items have been built up by almost all of the carries.
Yeah, and the game has slowed down a bit. Katrina bot looking to push up that mid wave, trying to get the inhibitor, and while the rest of the team stacks up in the top side jungle, looking for a fight. Good poke coming out from the Kaisa. Oh, and that thing does not have CD when it connects as well, because it reduces by half, so
that got buffed as well in this patch. Even less CDR.
Yeah, and as you can see, Temple of Kings just looking to poke down Fake 9, and they will try to hopefully wait out this Malphite ult on Cyrus and then try to engage of their own. So really slow pace to the game right now. Both teams are just looking to farm up. Lucian has pushed in the bot wave, so he is going to split the team apart from Fake 9. No objectives up and no fights to be had right now.
Yeah, 1 minute to Baron. I think that would be the next focal point of both these teams. So they're just
Those
looking to pick up
W's
as
really
much
hurt.
gold as they can for that 1 minute. Sasiwaka just so tanky right now.
He is tanky, but he doesn't have a lot of MR. So if Victor and Silas both decide to aim him,
Oh,
or
but
Katrina
Silas
bot,
ultimate on to Katrina bot will just get one shot. So that is a 55-second dead timer, and the
and the
Baron
Baron is
spawns there
coming up as well.
30 seconds. Yeah, 55 seconds and 30 seconds. So they can be on the Baron pit without Katrina bot, their main carry, alive. So Katrina bot having a lapse in judgment, completely not paying attention, and goes down at a very critical moment. And with the Vayne, they can just burn down this Baron quickly.
Yeah, and Lucian Katrina bot has sold his boot, got the Death's Dance instead. So he's looking to survive these fights, but he got picked off at really wrong time. And
Oh, the Vayne getting caught in the Malphite ultimate as well, but the Kindred ultimate is gonna keep the team alive. The Nautilus ultimate is gonna look for the Vayne, but Malphite will just go down as Temple of Kings completely abandon the team fight, and Take9 actually do not go onto the Baron right away. They wanna push out this mid lane, so I'm not sure what that was about. But look at this, the Evelyn will take down the Brom, and we have a teleport in the backside where Lucian
in
has
the top
managed to
lane,
creep up on the top lane. Yeah,
and decisions for Fake Nine, because I mean they had won the fight, but Brom tried to re-engage for some reason instead of going for the Baron or the Dragon or setting up vision and everything.
the
So
Nautilus ultimate will connect. I think, don't you think they could have just started the Baron after they got the kill on
they really
Sasibaka?
should have, because the Lucian was dead as well, and the Malphite had died too. So that would have been the better decision, but
And now
for some
suddenly
reason,
Temple of Kings are the one taking the Baron after losing like 2 fights in a row.
and the Dragon's up as well, and you can see Kendra running down to the Dragon trying to trade it, but I don't think she'll make it in time.
So it's gonna be a second soul point for Fake 9. Would be really huge if they do manage to get the
Malphite ult,
Dragon Soul, but the Malphite ult is just gonna take down the Kindred. The Kindred
or
was
the
trying
Vayne
to
gets
solo
caught.
the Dragon, but Vayne is gonna pop the Guardian Angel as well. Will get exhausted out. He's gonna flash away to safety. Madrasi actually does manage to take down the Nautilus as well. Sasibaka will take down Frodo on that Silas. Madrasi is buking it out with the not the Malphite in a 1v1, but both of them end up surviving. Dominic feeling pretty confident about himself does go down, but Katrina
Lucian in
bot
the
does
backline. This
flank
could be
from
the end of the game.
behind and just cleans up the whole fight. And yeah, this should be game with the Baron buffed up minions, and they have taken down the entirety of Fake 9, and this completely falls apart. It was looking so promising for Fake 9 once again. I think we find ourselves repeating the same sentence, that it was looking good for Fake 9 in the middle. They were coming back, but somehow they just lose.
Yeah, I mean they were looking good, but it's all on the back of Temple of Kings throwing away their lead again and again and again till they didn't and won the fight cleanly.
So,
So
what
really
a
interesting second game.
yeah, chaotic game. That game ended up with 77 kills at
Wow.
35 minutes. And that Lucian somehow ended up the game being 23 and 5, which should never happen in a final of a competitive game. I don't know what was all that about, but once again, Temple of Kings, for once, they did not start the game well. Actually, if we remember the early game, Irvin managed to get a double kill without like doing anything, and
At
without
level
the
1.
minions even spawning. Yeah, level 1, sorry. And he used up his lead pretty well as well. I think Irvin was the one carrying the team on his back for as long as he could. But at the end, it just came up short. This Lucian was just so ahead. If you remember, there was this point where Shokia tried to gank the Lucian in the mid lane, and both of the Victor and the Kindred both were low, and the Lucian just ended up getting a double kill, and it all fell apart from there. As soon as you give that Lucian a double kills, Katrina bought a really good player. He knows how to play on his advantages, completely snowballed the game out of control, just went absolutely insane. insane on that Lucian, had more kills than the enemy team combined at one point, and that would be game two for Temple of Kings.
Yeah, and we had talked about after game one as well. What could Fake Nine do different? And I told you maybe if they get an early lead, and they did get an early lead. Frodo got the solo kill in the top lane. Bot lane got the 2v2 kills onto the Vayne, and they had the lead to play around, but they just couldn't capitalize.
I mean, this would be like really demoralizing for Fake Nine as well, because they played their cards right. They got the early advantage, and things were looking so good. But
And
just
on the champions that they needed to get ahead with, the Vayne
yeah, and
especially.
they did really well on the draft as well. They had champions to counter the Evelyn, counter the Malphite in the form of that Kindred. They had the Braum to protect the Vayne from the Lucian, but you just can't do much. You just can't do if you have a 17 kill Lucian at 15 minutes. It's just like you're not playing League of Legends anymore. He's just equivalent to like four champions. It's like a 5v10 for the enemy team.
Yeah, and it became really hard for them to play the game when the Lucian got so ahead. They did have their moment when Irvin managed to kite two, three of them, but he could only do so much without the peel. So really
I
hard game for the
mean,
Vayne to play in.
we have to talk about that Baron fight as well. They managed to get Katrina bot completely out of the Baron fight, and even after that, they managed to get the Malphite out of the fight as well. So there was no damage from the Lucian. There was no Malphite ultimate for the Baron pit, and somehow they ended up pushing the mid lane instead of committing onto the Baron. Maybe they were afraid of the Evelyn stealing it or what. I do not know what their plan was. They ended up just giving away the Baron for free.
Yeah, I mean, if you remember, the Braum got caught out trying to engage in the mid lane for some reason when he did not have to, because two of their solo laners from the opposite side were dead, so they could have just maybe baited the Baron and fish for kills. Instead, ended up
Hmm.
dying. A huge team fight broke out, and then Temple of Kings ran away with the Baron for themselves instead.
And they were on soul point for two Drakes as well. Could not finish out that as well. So let's take a look at the scoreboard for that game.
I mean, look at that Lucian damage, man. 42,000 damage compared to a 28k thousand from Vayne. 14,000 more than the second highest damage in the game. So that's the story of the
Completely
game right there.
ridiculous. Yeah. So Temple of Kings again, they do manage to get the game, but i- instead of like cleaning up from the first game, it just looked like they ended up worse from the first game. They did not play the early game correctly, and I think they just won off the back of this Lucian. If this Lucian, instead of being 17 kills, even if he was like 10 kills, I don't think this game was gonna end up this way. It would have been like really close, and just on the solo proficiency of Katrina bot and his skill alone, they managed to somehow pull this game back.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter when that happens, right? Even if you play really bad and still end up winning, I mean, you can't play worse than they did in the last game. They threw a lot of times and still ended up winning the game. So they should be feeling really confident about this. So if they do
Yeah,
end
I
up
mean
playing to
it's
their potential, then it's gonna be an easy third
it's
game for them as
almost
well.
like they can do anything, and like one of these guys is just gonna solo carry. Like even last game we saw Black Infinity on that Evelyn just held the team together even after many throws, and now Katrina bot that just shows the amount of individual skill that Temple of Kings possess. And look at that, we had a game for about 35, 37 minutes, and Fake Nine managed to get zero turret.
And zero dragon barons as well. Yeah, I mean, you're right. If any one of them pops up, Infinity, Dead Corporal, Dominic, or Katarina bot, then they'll just win the game because they are so much better than their counterparts individually.
So
And for
this
Fake
is
Nine, I
gonna
think they have to look to surprise Temple of Kings now in the pick and ban phase. Pull out something which they have been hiding, or something has to change for them.
I mean, they did change up the draft phase this time as well. They left both the Elise and the Kiana open. They ended up picking a decent draft, but it just comes down to individual skill at this point. Katrina bot just completely annihilating his counterpart, and just gonna take a massive hit on the confidence of Fake 9 at this point. I don't know how they're gonna come back from this and themselves 2-0 down in a best of 5 championship point for Temple of Kings, just one game away from taking away that $1,500. And I don't see what, if you were Fake Nine's leader, what would you be saying to the team right now?
I mean, I would be saying just enjoy this game. Take one. I mean, it's become a best of one for them now. Three best of ones for them. They can't lose any more games if they want to stay in the series. So just enjoy the game, see where it takes them, and just have fun at this point because damage has already been done.
I mean, I guess you are right. So we will be taking a short break, guys. So this is a best of 5. So we will come back for what could be potentially the last game if Temple of Kings do manage to take down. And so stay tuned, and we will be back shortly.
First blood. First blood. Red team double. Red team has slain the dragon. Unstoppable. Blue team double. Blue team has slain the dragon. Unstoppable.
once more before the end.
Red team has slain the dragon.
Favor like
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
A summoner has disconnected.
First blood. First blood. Red team. Red team has slain the dragon. Unstoppable.
the WD Black Cup Season 2 of League of Legends, brought to you by AMD and Skyesports. So it's been a pretty exciting best of 5 series right now. Temple of Kings find themselves 2-0 ahead against Fake 9. I am Fireball and casting with me is Kaka.
Yeah, welcome back, guys. As we are on to the series point of this tournament, basically Temple of Kings 2-0 up against Fake 9, and the games have been quite back and forth, but Temple of Kings still, winning the games with a huge goal lead, and Katrina Ball playing out of his mind in the last game. So really interesting games so far.
I mean, back and forth, mainly it's just like Temple of Kings not deciding to close it out. It was
Or
always
Temple of
like
Kings
Temple of
deciding
Kings.
to make the games interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it was never like Fake Nine were in a significant goal lead ever at a point in the series, but Temple of Kings do show moments where they like lose concentration basically and provide avenues for the enemy team to get back into game, but they still ended up winning both of those games convincingly at the end. First game was at the back of Black Infinity's Evelyn, and second game Katrina Bot just becoming a monster. I don't know what got into that man in the second game. So we will be going into the third game, which could potentially be the final game of this tournament. So again, reminding you, the first place team will get $1,500. That's US dollars, and the second team will go out with 750. And Kaka, what do you expect from the draft phase for Fake Nine coming into Game Three?
I mean, speaking of drafting, they have to surprise Temple of Kings somehow. They picked up the Vayne quite early on last game. She got ahead, but the Lucian was wreaking havoc throughout the game. So they have to surprise the Temple of Kings roster somehow, and maybe pick up something which is going to snowball them to victory. It's really hard for them though, because they have to draft against a jungler and a top laner who can switch around at any time.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard being false nine in this
Fake
series.
Nine, yeah, like we thought that if they got an early game advantage, maybe they could build on that. But we saw in game two they did manage to get an early game advantage. They got a solo kill in the top lane. The Vayne got two kills before the minions even spawned, but that didn't really translate into a victory because they ended up giving Lucian just two kills early on, and those two turned into 27 in a blink of an eye. That just shows that you cannot give Katrina Bot an inch or he will take a mile from you. So Fake Nine really have that work cut out for them. They have to win 3 games in a row against Temple of Kings if they have to bring back this series, and that looks like a big mountain to climb, honestly.
Yeah, and 3 games in a row, and when you consider Temple of Kings haven't lost a single game in the whole tournament, it's quite a big task. It's a big ask from them to win 3 in a row, let alone just one. So it's gonna be really hard for Fake Nine to come back in this, and I don't see a way of them coming back into the series at all. This could be a 3-0.
I mean, I completely agree with you. By now, the mental would have taken a big hit as well because you just think about the second game, you've done everything correct. You managed to get an early game advantage. You did end up getting a few dragons and you were doing so well, but then you just lose to a 1v9 Lucian. And it just, yeah, shows that the individual quality, let alone the team from Temple of Kings, but the individual quality that they possess is just so high. And we are receiving news that Spartan Frank will be subbing in for Fake Nine for this third game. So Kaka, as you mentioned, trying something different. Maybe Spartan Frank was that missing link they needed for the third game.
Yeah, and speaking of surprises, Spartan Frank comes into the lineup. He's gonna play jungle. He does play early game junglers like the G4, like the Zinjao, the Nocturne. So maybe he's the missing link that could push them to victory. But it's gonna be really hard for them. So let's see what happens.
So we are in the picks and bans for the third game in this best of five, the grand final. So we will, as is tradition, go up with the Katrina ban, and as is tradition for Temple of Kings as well, they
The
have
Lulu
banned
ban.
the Lulu.
Yeah, it's the same ban from the last two games. Katrina bought. It's in the name. You can't give him Katrina. Corky's gonna get banned out as well from Fake Nine. Lulu ban. I don't think Rusty Panda likes to play against the Lulu at all. So there's that. Morgana ban again coming out from Temple of Kings. They don't want to play against Wonka's Morgana. So really standard bans coming out for both the teams right now. And Caitlyn
And
ban from Fake
Caitlyn,
Nine. They could choose to first pick it. They did ban it on the red side last time around, and this time they're gonna ban it from the blue side and decide not to pick it first.
interesting to see what the first pick would be for Fake Nine right there. So once again, Kiana is left open. So is the talent. So maybe they're not
So is
expecting
the
Katrina
Evelyn.
about to pick them. So is the Elise.
Yeah, and now Spartan Frank is playing, so you don't have that fear in your mind that you have to pick the Evelyn in first rotation because Spartan Frank is not known to play Evelyn at all. So and that third ban they missed it, but it is a Trundle ban. We got the word from our organizer, and let's see what Fake Nine first picks here.
Yeah, I think they have to take away one of those strong pick champions. I guess you.
Wayne first pick.
Yeah, Wayne did work out for them in the previous game. He did really well. He carried his own weight and some on top of that. So Wayne pick, first pick, I think could be fine after that last game.
Yeah, have on the back of his performance, sure you can make an argument for first pick Wayne, but I don't think POK was looking to pick the Wayne anyway, so you can let it go and pick something that is of more priority, like the Victor, which is gonna get picked here.
Yeah, so like they ended up using their first pick for an AD carry, and they're gonna give away two really, really strong picks for Temple of Kings. I already do not like this draft from Fake Nine. So Evelyn on Black Infinity, he already showed us in game one what he can do with that. And the second game as well, we get another Evelyn game for Black Infinity, not showing him the respect he deserves and he asks. And the victor as well, we saw in the semifinals, Katrina Bot actually did play a very, very good victor. So really strong picks coming out for Temple of Kings in the first two rotation.
Yeah, Fake Nine is gonna go back to their bread and butter from last game. The Vayne and the Brom, they did win the lane, did really well in the laning phase, even in the team fight. So they are going to fall back to it, and let's see what they change. Or the Cassidon, we talked
Okay,
about it. He's so strong in the early, mid, and late game, and they might pick him up here.
yeah, Kassan is absolutely bonkers in the meta right now with the new tank items, the tier tank item as well as the crown of the Shattered Queen. And I like this pick. I like this pick because he's good into AP matchups as well, and there are two AP champions in the form of Evelyn and Victor. So if the Kassadin does pop off, he can be the solo carry for Fake Nine. And Rusty Panda
Yeah,
once
and the
again,
Nautilus gets picked again.
Nautilus. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just gonna look to roam again. It's the same thing from the last game and the game before that. He's not playing for lane anymore. He's just like the Nautilus. Try to roam as much as he can, put pressure on other lanes and get them rolling instead of the bot lane. So goes back to his Nautilus. And Gwen ban and GT ban again. It's quite interesting.
It was Fake Nine who banned out GP last time as well. Maybe do not want to face that Corporal's gank flank, very oppressive champion with those barrels and a global ultimate. So the bans will be rounded off with the Gwen and Lilia as well. So similar bans from the last game for Temple of Kings.
They should be looking to ban the J4 or the Zinjao instead of the Lilia because I don't think Spartan Frank plays a lot of Lilia as well, but they do end up banning the Lilia. So maybe it's something they don't want to play against instead of who we are facing. And almost the same bans from the last game as well. The GP gets banned, the
Yeah, I
Camille
think
gets
all
banned, the
ten
Lilia, Gwen.
bans are identical.
Yeah. The picks
So
have
Fake
changed though.
Nine
So
looking to pick up a jungler and a top laner. Temple of Kings are looking to pick up an ADC and a top laner. So
Yeah, and they will look to pick up the ADC right here so they can get a comfortable matchup in the top lane for Dead Corporal. And Yone
ooh,
is not something I was
expecting.
expecting to see. Yeah.
So Yasuo, uh, still he can be ADC Yasuo. We have seen that being played a lot, but seeing that is a Fiora, the
Fiora blind
Fiora,
pick.
it is a top lane for Dead Corporal.
Yeah, but picking it blind is very interesting. He's just so confident on that champ. He's like, you can pick whatever you want against it. I'm just gonna smash you anyway. So he picks up the Fiora fourth pick. And the Yone Yasuo, however, is maybe some inside joke that they're having with each other.
Yeah. What would you be looking to pick into a Fiora if it were you? Like, I mean, they actually
Oh,
managed
the
to lock
Yone
in the
does get
Yone.
locked in. So, I mean, that's Yone top lane against Fiora. So, I wouldn't look to pick Yone because I know I'm going to lose with Yone against a Fiora if she gets ahead or if it goes to the late game. So, it's quite surprising that they pick the Yone after seeing the Fiora, but maybe
I
he
mean,
knows
yeah,
something that I
the
don't.
CC is so predictable as well. Fiora can just parry that away, and then suddenly you don't have anything to work with.
Yeah, and
Uh,
Sejuani pick up Brom Sejuani is really, really obnoxious to play against. Tons of CC for days, basically. Everything that they do lines up together.
And yes,
So
Sejuani
it's a good pickup.
synergizes really well with melee champions as well. So seeing Kassadin is melee, Yone is melee, so they have that working for them. So they counter that with an Ashe.
Yeah, and I like the Ash pick actually. It's a long range engage for the Fiora, for the Evelyn, for the Victor, so they can just stand in the back line and in the laning phase as well. Ash is really good in the laning phase as well against the Vayne. You can just push her inside the turret and look to take those turret platings away and get the early dragon stacking up just through the bot lane.
Yeah, the W spam from Ashe can add up and just take chunks out of your HP bar. So you have to keep that in mind. Brom will have to use his shield properly, and that Guardian will be in play as well, I am assuming. So, what are your thoughts on the team compositions like early game, mid
I
game,
mean,
late game?
you
What are you
can
expecting?
really you can't really go wrong with picking Sejuani and Braum because they are so easy to play and so easy to synergize with the rest of the team. But the unit top has, you know, it's quite risky picking that into Fiora because if the Fiora gets ahead, then the Yone is gonna go 0-10, 0-15, you name it. So it's gonna be hard for them if the Yone loses his lane. But except for that, I really like the team comp coming out from Fake Nine. They have picked up some really strong champions for themselves
So,
and a
we
lot of
are
comfort on
getting
Team
into
Temple of Kings.
the game three, potentially the final game if Temple of Kings do end up cle- clearing this game up.
Welcome to Summoner's
Level
Rift.
1 Temple of Kings are sticking as 5 members towards the top side, maybe trying to get a deep
Villagers
ward
enter
in,
to wither and
whereas
spawn.
Fake 9 are just guarding those entrances. Pretty standard stuff.
Yes, so they go for a deep invade, try to ward out the blue buff from Fake Nine. They want to see where the Sejuani starts, and Fiora's going to face check the Yone there.
Yeah, Sasibaka runs into Yone,
And
but
Fiora
they will
is running
just.
that Grasp of the Undying as well, so it's so lane
Minions have
dominant.
spawned.
I have no idea how this Yone is going to play
Survive in
this lane
lane.
out. It's going to be hard. Yeah, it's going to be
He's
so
gonna need
hard.
all
Fiora's
the
already
help.
so strong.
Gonna need all
Oh,
the help that
definitely.
Sejuani can get him. But later on, Yone does become obnoxious himself. He just needs two items, the shield bow and the infinity edge. Then he gets like 100% crit and he starts one-shotting people.
And bot lane start for both sides. If
Both the junglers. Yeah.
I think if you're Spartan Fang coming into the lineup for potentially the last game, you should have seen the last game how it went and just focus on the bot lane instead of ganking the others. Try to get this Vayne ahead and see how it goes.
Already that grasp play coming in, but a good trade back from Frodo actually at level 1 builds up a good HP advantage.
And level 2 gang
Frank
coming
will
out from
just
Spartan Frank.
run into lane level 2, yeah, does not manage to get flash out of Katrina bot. So a lot of trading going on in the top lane. Nautilus does get level 2, completely misses the hook. Flashes will be followed on to Dominic and the exhausts are gonna get into play. Irwin will not manage to take him down. Rusty Panda getting dangerously low, but Irwin managed to cancel one auto attack. But Rusty
Why
Panda
did he
actually
hook
goes
back in?
back in. I don't know what he was thinking, and he just hooks into death. Irwin almost
Yeah,
messed
and
that up because he cancelled his auto attack, but Rusty Panda just gives him the kill.
yeah, and really strange decision coming out of Rusty Panda to go back in.
Oh,
Where
and a beautiful
solo kill in the mid lane.
W put down by Katrina bot, completely cutting off Madrasi's path back to the turret, and he will just auto attack him to death. So 1 for 1 in overall kills for both
Overall.
the teams, but first blood
Yeah, but
goes to Irwin.
yeah, about the bot lane fight again. All 4 spinners are burned. The Vayne has again found herself in the lead, and Rusty Panda has been playing quite poor in the last few games as well, making some weird decisions. And again, he's getting so low just by tanking these minions. I don't know what he's
Oh!
trying to do.
Top lane, Sasibaga tries to dive the Vayne, but Frodo just
Rusty
flashes
Panda
and
dies
uses
again
soul
in the
away.
bot lane.
Oh my god, this game is getting so chaotic already. It's been 3 minutes. The players and casters cannot catch a break. So much to talk about. So in the top lane, Sasibaka actually tries to dive the Yone at level 4 and just ends up dying to the turret. And in the bot lane, we do not know what happened because there was just so much going on top lane. We just know Rusty Panda dies and he is 0-2 at 4 minutes.
Yeah, and he was tanking that huge stack of minions by himself for some reason, and I think that's how he ended up dying. But he was less than half HP just by tanking the minions.
And Frodo is trading heavily onto Fiora, but ends up losing more HP than he does damage. And then
Dead
once
Corporal-
again,
Vayne has the boot completed. Dead Corp got quite greedy in the top lane, tried to dive the Yone. He's so up ahead in the CS, you don't really need to take that risk and
Yeah.
try to dive.
oh, now he might be looking to gank that, but Spartanfang is there for the counter, but the charm will connect and they're just gonna pick up the kill onto the Fiora. So 1-1 Fiora and almost like 2 waves ahead.
Yeah, and he's so ahead. This is like the first game when the set was just dominating the Akali. And it's Fiora now. Fiora does not get any weaker as the game goes
Yeah.
on. She just gets stronger and stronger. And look at the CS lead. He's 20 CS up. 5 CS for the Yone. He's
At
so
5
behind.
minutes, 1 CS per minute.
He does. The Braum has more CS than the Yone right now.
That is sad to look at. And then once again, the Vayne finds herself 2-0 up really early on, and we saw that last game Irwin did manage to convert that early lead into a good performance. So hoping for another good performance. Then exhaust has to be used to survive, and Dominic just raining down those arrows onto Irwin, and good trades going on.
Yeah, but look at the top lane, Faisal. The Sasibaka has decided to freeze the wave there, so the Yone can't really walk up without, you know,
Yeah, and Sejuani looks like has
Without risking
completely
his life
abandoned the top lane.
and he's getting
She
the
is
dragon. This is so
gonna-
risky.
She has to smite this, and she misses a
Oh,
smite.
misses the
Red
smite.
team actually steal it, and oh, this is such a disaster. Spartan Fang tried to do the dragon without having his upgraded smite up, and ends up losing the
missed the
dragon as
smite.
well as his life. Oh no,
Missed the
this is
smite,
going
burnt his
all
flash,
wrong
ended
here.
up giving the kill to Victor as well. This is a nightmare if you're Spartan Frank. He is almost 30 CS behind. Black Infinity is chugging down on his jungle.
Oh no.
This is gonna be so bad for the Sejuani. He's so behind now, and so is the top lane. So even if the Vayne has the 2 kills, it really does not matter. And Yone is gonna get dove here.
Yeah, and game looks like it has been paused after the disaster play coming from Spartan Frank. Don't know what
Really
was. I mean,
unfortunate. He was.
if you like, if he wanted to do that, he should have at least gotten his upgraded smite. He was doing that with a 450 HP smite, and like we even saw his bot lane was pushed in. They could not come to help him, and just bad decisions were made all around.
Yeah, and Black Infinity ends up burning his flash. He tried to dive the Yone, but misplayed it, so burns his flash, but gets out with his life. So that's not too bad. Sasi Baka again so strong in the top lane. 30 CS advantage at 7 minutes. 12 CS on the Yone is so poor.
Yeah, level 5
The
Yone
might
walking up
die
to a
here.
level 6
Oh, the Yone is gonna die
Yorai.
here for sure.
You are gonna go back to that same spot. You just saw the Evelyn there a few seconds ago. Why would you walk up? Is just going from bad to worse, but Katrina bot has been caught out from the Winter's Bite. The Ignite is sticking. The Kassadin will expend his flash, but the Braum ends up getting the kill. So not ideal, but still a kill is a kill. So the Victor goes down, but this top lane is looking really rough. She has 3 daggers.
And she hasn't even recalled yet the Fiora, and he's gonna get one plating to his name as well. So a lot of gold to work with. And
Look at the wave
look
that
at-
is
look
dying
at
to the
wave.
turret.
Exactly. That's such a big wave which Yone is not gonna catch. He's gonna find himself 2 levels down.
Oh,
to
Irwin flashes
Flashing
forward
by
with his
Irwin.
ultimate, and not sure what that was all about.
I think that's just the
Flashes.
desperate play coming out because you see your mid lane losing, you see your top lane getting smashed in the wave.
I mean, he's
He's
having
getting smashed,
PTSD
so-
of game 2.
Yeah, so it can happen. You feel pressured to perform. You feel like you have to do something here to cheer up the team or carry the game or something, but it just backfires. So ends up
I
burning
mean,
both
the
his
way
sisters for
the
nothing.
Ash still had her flash up, the cleanse up, she just uses the cleanse and just walks away, and you can see like the tilt
The Cassidy and W's
manifesting
in
in
and
Fake
R's in
9.
and he might die.
Then once again, the lane which Cassidy should not be looking to actually get kills in lane, just scale for later on, as we all know he's gonna be way stronger than the Victor later on, but he's just dying in lane. It's already 0-2,
Yeah, and the
and
Yone finds himself in the mid lane because
Mid
his
lane,
wave was
like-
frozen at top.
yeah, just cannot deal with the Fiora at all, and he almost. Oh, the good ultimate will connect onto the Victor, and they will actually take down Katrina bot. And meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Black Infinity comes up clutch with another gank and ends up taking down the Braum.
Yeah, but look at the state of the top lane. He's gonna get the first turret so early in the game, and this Fiora, you cannot deal with this Fiora.
And she's just gonna keep split pushing. You're gonna have to send 2, 3, even 4 people to deal with her, and it's just gonna be a real huge problem. The Sejuani ulti barely misses, but the hood does connect onto Irwin. Rusty Panda getting low. The kill will be picked up by Spartan Frank, not the best member to get the kill on, considering the Vayne and Kassadin were there. But Fake 9 are managing to get some kills back of their own, but
And they're looking to put this
it's
turret down in
again
the bot lane.
the story of game 2. Fake 9 were able to get some kills here and there, but one lane was just so ridiculously ahead, it didn't matter, and that lane now is the Fiora in the top lane. She's just so ahead of the curve of the game.
Yeah, and they do end up getting kills, but nothing to show for it because they're not
Oh
getting
my
any
god,
objectives.
Black
and
Infinity is just gonna
blows
walk up
the
between
way.
2 people and actually is gonna end up killing both of them. This Evelyn is a problem. Sasi Baka will casually dive the turret, take down the Braum as well. 3 kills in a matter of seconds without any reply. And this is looking really rough. 10 minutes and a 4,000
Yeah.
goal lead already.
10 minutes, 4,000 goal lead, 3-1-0 on the Fiora with a whole turret all for herself, 5 plates, first turret gold, 5,500 gold. He's so ahead. 2,500 gold ahead at 10 minutes is really, really bad. And Infinity again on his signature, Evelyn popping
I
off.
mean, it
So
doesn't
this
even
is looking
surprise us
really rough.
anymore. It's like we see Black Infinity on the Evelyn, we know he's gonna be a real big problem for the enemy team.
What's surprising is the enemy team has decided not to ban it all 3 games.
Yeah, it's like
And
they would rather ban the Caitlyn rather like compared to
yeah,
the Evelyn.
which is really surprising. And they do pick up the second dragon as well at 11 minutes, so it's gonna be an early soul if manage to get the third one as well for Temple of Kings. And unlike other games, they might end this one rather quickly.
Quickly, yeah. I mean, if you're Fake Nine, what are you looking to do right now?
I'm
Well,
looking
that's
to
what we
slash
have a
at this
fight
game
at
and
the
do it
bot
next.
lane. Black Infinity will connect the charm and he's just gonna 100 to 0 the Vayne. The Vayne stood no chance. The Winter's Bite does connect. The teleport will come on to save the Braum of all people. But the Nautilus is here as well, maybe looking to land the hook. The flash hook does connect. And good Yone ultimate onto 2 people. Red team's teleport comes up as well. Spartan Frank will take down Dominic. Spartan Frank gets rooted up instead, and Black Infinity will just pick up that kill. So,
Yeah, and if you're
big
Fake
fight.
Nine right now, you're just looking for hope, but they're not getting anything out of these fights anywhere on the map. Top lane, bot lane, they just keep on losing their members. And the Vayne was 2-0 up, and now she's 2-2. You can't even rely on the Vayne to carry anymore because she is getting that one-shotted by Black Infinity.
Oh my god.
She might just die again. There you go. So at this point, I think all hope is lost for Fake Nine in this game.
Yeah.
But you never know.
Vayne was
Maybe Temple of
3
Kings
levels
decide to
down.
make this game interesting.
I mean, Sasibaka just walks up and auto attacks her 3 times.
Yeah, and the poor Vayne died.
Turret plating will
They're gonna lose more plates in the bot lane as well. Victor's getting ahead. He is 2,000 gold ahead of his mid lane counterpart as well. So not a single winning lane to play around for the jungler. And Spartan Frank is 2 levels down. He might.
The
I don't see
support,
them winning this game.
the
man.
support of Temple of Kings has only 700 gold less than the top laner of Fake Nine. The support of Temple of Kings has only 500 gold less than compared to the mid lane of Fake Nine. So this is really, really rough for Fake Nine. I mean, they just have to
And the support of
turtle
Fake
up,
Nine
get
has
into
300
this.
gold less than their mid laner. So that's the story of the game.
It's just,
And Yone might die here.
I mean, you cannot walk up against an Evelyn. I mean, he does manage to survive, but in the bottom video, you see Sasibaka managing to run away with his Q spam, but Black Infinity not looking to give up on the kill. He will flash forward, the charm does connect, and once the charm connects, the kill is confirmed as well. But Madrasi will flash forward with his R, gets a huge shutdown, might go down. Oh, he does end up getting
Gets executed, so
so
which is fine.
yeah. So big
Yeah, but
shutdown for the Cassadin.
Yeah, and the real problem is in the jungle again. Black is 6-0-4, 650 gold shutdown and has the Magi picked up for himself and he is
I
stacking it.
cannot understand the thought process in the draft process of letting the Evelyn go free while every single game you have suffered against that. Every single game you have had an Evelyn with like 15, 16 stacks running you down. So just ban it if you're not able to deal with her.
Yeah, and 2 out of 3 games
The hook
Infinity
connects.
has carried out of
Frodo
his mind.
will flash away. And wait, the Braum W's in ult. The Winter's Bite does connect, only 1 stack left, but the Cassadin is trying to hold the Nautilus down, and with so many PCs available, they will end up taking down the Nautilus. And Black Infinity is here to save his mid laner. Katrina bot trying his hardest to survive. The corrupting pot is taking on him. But Cassadin does end up taking him down as well. So a good amount of gold getting into the Cassadin.
Yeah, so a 2-for-1 trade, but again Infinity comes in, gets 1 kill, gets 4 stacks more on his Magi, so he's not gonna complain at all. He's just saying, guys, let me get my Magi to 25 stacks and then you just don't have to do anything. I'm just gonna one-shot each one of them. So
I mean, Black Infinity is making a statement performance in the final series. All three games on Evelyn, he's been so good, like better than good. He's been carrying the early game as an Evelyn and always has a shutdown, always has a stack of Magi's. He wants that MVP,
he
and I
always
can
has
see
that
it. He's
presence in the
finding it.
game where whenever he
Yeah.
shows up, he's gonna get a kill or two. Cloud Drake,
All-
it's not the worst Drake, definitely not the best,
Yeah,
but
I mean that's another
Cloud Drake
thing
on
that's
Ashe,
gonna demoralize Fake Nine. I mean, if they had a Chemtech Soul
Yeah.
or a like Infernal Soul or something which they could have looked forward for later on, and they don't get that as well. The RNG god's not in their favor, and honestly, I don't see any way Fake Nine gets back into this.
yeah, and Cloud Soul, Cloud Dragons are not too bad for the side of Temple of Kings because Ashe has that enchanted arrow. If it goes on lower cooldown, you can just engage whenever it's up, and seeing how ahead their jungler is. He's double the CS of the enemy jungler right now. He's 2 levels ahead, 7 and 4 again, as we talked about.
Like Black Infinity
It's really
completely
rough.
gapping his counterpart.
Yeah,
And
even
Cloud
the
Soul
Fiora
really good
connects
on
so well as
Fiora
well.
as well. Like after she uses her ultimate, gonna get that burst of mood speed.
Yeah, to chase down her target and kill them. And Infinity getting the blue buff for his mid laner. Not a lot of objectives up on the map, so they're looking to see what they can get, if anything at all.
Arrow does
Yeah.
end up missing. The hook does connect onto the Braum. The Braum will use his ultimate. Dominic is gonna flash that away. Now they are kiting back as the blue team will connect the Sejuani ult. The cleanse will connect, but I'm not sure why Ashe was the last one in the stack running away. It should have been Nautilus to block that Sejuani ultimate for the Ashe. So Fake 9 does end up getting one kill back.
And the game is lagging a bit, but as we get back, Katrina Bot is
Katrina
going to
Bot
pick up the
gets
top turret,
600
600
gold for
gold
the
for
tier
himself.
2. Yeah.
Braum is standing in the shadows trying to protect the Vayne, and
Oh, the Condemn is just gonna miss slightly from the turret. The flash, Winter's Bite, and
TP's coming
Irvin is
in.
gonna peer pressure flash to follow that up, but 2 teleports will confirm that kill onto Katrina Bot. Irvin does manage to get that kill. So a lot of
And
resources
Katrina
being
Bot
blown
dies for
into
the
that.
mistake of his top laner.
Yeah.
Again,
mean-
2 items completed for the Fiora, both life steal items, so he's not gonna die anytime soon in the team fights or in the solo lane as well.
I mean, believe it or not, slowly or steady, Flake 9 has managed to creep back up. The Fiora did not go out of control like we saw the Lucian did in game 2. And the Kassadin got 2 kills. And the Vayne is sitting on 4 right now. Props to Frodo for not tilting out of his mind after that horrendous early game. Does manage to complete his Immortal Shield Bow. Does end up getting 3 digits in the CS. And is sitting on a 3-kill scoreboard right
Yeah,
now.
but
So
they are getting the kills, but they are not getting anything out of it. No objectives to be taken after them. 0 turret, 0 dragon. So these kills, while they do help in terms of goal, but they're not, easing up the pressure at all.
yeah, you
The
just have to
tempo has
put that
been-
charm and see everyone run away scared.
Oh,
Oh,
and he
the
whips
ultimate
out
is
his
just gonna
ultimate.
miss.
And the Dragon Soul is gonna come up in 1 minute. The Baron is
Yeah.
up, and Sasi Baka.
Looking
He
to
can
fight
just
under the
dive him.
turret, and he actually misses the parry as well. So Frodo is looking to fight that. The Immortal Shield Bow will be propped up, almost manages to take down Sasi Baka, and seeing that
The Baron gets started.
Temple of Kings have started up the Baron, and it does go down to about half HP, and they are looking to turn and fight. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow will miss. But Rusty Panda takes down Rom, and Kassadin is trying to do as much damage as he can.
Spartan
Irvin
fan.
is going crazy in the back line. He does manage to get one kill only, but Black Infinity is just so strong right now. They're like, you cannot deal with this Evelyn. The amount of
Yeah, he
AoE
has
damage he
25
puts
stacks now.
on with his ultimate. Kassadin is looking to take down Sasibaka right now, will use his ultimate to dive on top of him, but the amount of lifesteal this Fiora possesses is just insane, and Madrasi just has to walk back.
Yeah, and the Baron gets taken down, and as soon as they recall, the Dragon's coming up as well, so they can just go back to the Dragon, finish that up, and then stack in the mid lane or the bottom lane and try to end the game pretty early now. 9,000 gold lead at 21 minutes is nothing to be. Yeah,
After that, and yeah,
It's
and
so
they will
hard.
pick up the
for Fake 9.
Cloud Soul. Looks like, I mean, there is no reason for Fake 9 to even try to fight this. I don't think so. We will go into a pause real quick, presumably for battle ping issues, but looking at the scoreboard, it's just very dire situation for Fake 9 all around. 22 minutes, they are almost 10,000 gold behind.
I mean, the scoreboard
And
is not telling the story of the game. 13 to 18, you would think it's a closer affair, but it's really not. It's almost 10,000 lead, no dragons, no Baron, nothing
like
at
only
all
one
to show
turret
for
in the
it.
bot lane, yeah. And Black Infinity just putting another performance out of his mind, like he has been throughout this series on this Evelyn. Okay, so we are having some pause issues inside the game. We will get back as soon as that is resolved. But what do you think about the game so far?
I mean, this game has been really one-sided, and Temple of Kings just looks stronger in every role, especially in the jungle in this one, but the top lane did so well as well, so this was expected, but it's still kind of surprising how big the gap is between the two teams.
Yeah, I mean, after game 2, especially seeing that Fake 9 did manage to play the early game so well, I expected them to do well as well, but now they have completely... Okay, that was really well played by Frodo to outplay Sasibaka and takes him down. So props to him
Yeah,
for
but
that.
I do not get why would you try to dive him? You
Yes,
can just use
Sejuani
the back.
ult will just get cleansed away. The Kassadin is diving in with his ultimate. It's not able to do a lot of damage. The Victor just puts out so much DPS, and Frodo does take down the Nautilus, but Black Infinity just doing so much in the back there. Black Infinity 9-0 and 825 stack Magi's.
Yeah,
And
and it ended up being a 3 for 3, but it was a 4 versus 5 because Fiora was already
Wasn't
dead
even
and
there,
Frodo
yeah.
found himself in the team fight. Yeah, and even then it was close, but again you can see how far ahead that Evelyn is. He's just killing the Kassadin, who is so strong as well right now. He has his 2 items completed. But mistakes coming out from Sasibaka in the solo lane did cause them the tempo again. The Baron run out soon.
Yeah,
It's what we've been talking about as well, right? Whenever they hit the Baron, they try to just fight it out instead of playing it slow and taking the threats. And
that is
that
one
just
thing they
keeps
might be
extending the
looking
game.
to work for in future tournaments.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
Black Infinity recalling with a huge pocket of gold, looking to get another item, just take over the game as he already has. We do have objective boundaries in this season to have an avenue, but I don't see how Take 9 can even get to the enemy team's turrets, let alone take them down. And the Cloud Soul picked up as well at 22 minutes. Temple of Kings have just run away with this game, so
Yeah,
looking
and
really
taking
rough.
objectives for Fake 9 is going to be really hard because they have so many melee champions, and Vayne is quite short range as well against a Victor who can just clear out the whole wave in one death ray. So it's really hard for them to take the turrets as well at this point.
Let's see what the plan from Fake 9 is right now. As we have seen, an Elder Dragon will be in play in about 4 minutes' time if the game manages to last till then.
Yeah, and Temple of Kings is controlling both sides of the jungle now, top side and the bottom side. You can see there is no vision for Fake Nine at all. Zero wards present in their own jungle. So everywhere, any brush that they check, it's not safe anymore. They can't really get out
I
of their
mean,
base
yeah,
anymore.
Fake 9 only have their base to work for. Frodo does try to
And
trade some
Frodo's
damage,
winning
but
this mind game every time. He fakes
yeah,
out his second Q and baits out the Fiora report, but doesn't
yeah,
use his
because
Q and then gets.
Fiora is using it predictively instead of reactively. I don't know why,
Yeah.
maybe he has higher ping or he's not confident in his ability to do that, but that is a very big spell to just use that way. And Katrina Bot is just gonna put down the Victor ultimate onto the Vayne and almost manages to take her down. Will get exhausted, so the damage does stop. Dominic ends up taking down Sejuani. A huge team fight breaking out inside the base. Frodo manages to
Sejuani
go
goes back in again.
but then, and I think that
And
should be
this is
game.
it.
Yeah, it looks like Temple of Kings are looking to complete this series 3-0. Not before Rusty Panda gets another hook, and of course Temple of Kings want to take down all 5 members of Fake 9. And actually they do, and Infinity does end up dying, so ruins his perfect KDA. But that will be it for the tournament. We have our champions for the WD Black Cup Season 2 of League of Legends. Temple of Kings will finish the grand finale 3-0 in a very, very, very dominant Game 3.
Yeah, and undefeated throughout the tournament. Dealing with whatever adversity they faced in earlier series or in games quite well. So deserving champions right here, Temple of Kings.
Yeah, as we see, the crown on top of their logo is on top of them right now, and Black Infinity, Dead Corporal, Akshar, Irwin, and Rusty Panda, the champions, your champions
Dominic.
of South Asia, Dominic here, and just
Yeah,
amazing
congratulations to
performance
them.
coming on.
Yeah, and they popped off really well. They not all of them popped off in the single game together, but each one of them took turns, and then they just showed how dominant
Yeah,
they are in their
exactly.
respective
They
roles.
just have so much individual quality. Even if one of them plays their 100%, that guy just secures the whole game. So I'm just at a loss of
And
words.
then
I knew Temple of Kings would be the team to beat, would be the favorites, but the manner in which they did end up winning, like they did not lose even a single game throughout the whole tournaments. They played best of threes and a best of five, did not manage to lose even a single game.
yeah,
And
and the closest that they came to losing was yesterday against Ace Phoenix when they found
yep.
themselves so far behind, and even though they won the game, they were still behind in gold as well. So that was the closest game they faced. And the damage, Victor deals the most damage, 25,000. I'm quite surprised actually. I thought it would be the Evelyn because he was so dominant, but again,
Mm.
Katrina bought on his Victor.
And this ending the game with 13,000 goal lead. Fake Nine managing to take one turret down at least, so better from game two, but just a rough game overall.
Yeah,
Temple of Kings gets the soul early on, gets one Baron, only took one Baron this time to end the game. And
and they did not even need the Baron to end the game. They just found a team fight at the
mhm.
enemy inhibitor, and then they decided to end the game. But 9 towers to one, four dragons. That's the soul to 0 dragons and 1 Baron again. Really dominant third game coming out from them.
I mean, even in this game, the bot lane from Fake Nine were ahead. When was 2-0 up. They were doing well, but Frodo was struggling. Oh my lord, he was less CS than his own support at one point.
At one point
And
in the game. Yeah,
yeah, this is
and it's
convincing
just
game
that
3.
even though the bot lane won, the pressure from the other lanes and jungle was too much for them to handle as well. Especially when Spartan Frank got caught out doing the dragon, flashed out of the pit, and then died
Oh, that
anyway.
was
That
so
was the turn.
painful to watch. Yeah.
Yeah, that really was.
Just subbed into game 3, trying to turn it around for his team. Decides to do the dragon while his bot lane is not pushed up and he doesn't have the upgraded smite. Ends up losing the dragon to the Nautilus of all people and dies as well. And it was just
And
bad all
then
around from Fake 9.
Yeah, and then he found himself so behind in the jungle matchup as well that he couldn't really contest for any crabs or any camps or any dragon or Rift Herald at all after that. Being 30 CS behind at like 6 minutes is huge in the jungle as well. And he had 17 CS, so that's like 4, 5 camps, so that's. He was really
I mean,
behind
he
and he
was
did
up
try to
against
make some
Black
plays.
Infinity. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was up against Black Infinity, one of the favorites for the MVP actually. So let's just talk about that for a second. So you have seen the best of threes, the semifinals, and the final series right now. Who would you put as your top two or top three contenders for the MVP?
I mean, if it was up to me, it has to be between Katarina Bot and Black Infinity for sure. Katarina Bot, when he pops up, he pops off. 20 kills today, 27 kills today. Yesterday he was on the Corki, 17 kills, 4 deaths. So he really popped off when he had to. And except for that, like Black Infinity has been really consistent throughout the whole tournament, I would say, even in the top lane and in the jungle as well. So it has to be one of these two who gets it, and I can't really choose one. So
I mean,
yeah,
yeah, I
one of the
couldn't
two.
agree more as
It's a flip
well.
of the coin.
But Katrina bot is just so good when he gets ahead, converts this 1 kill lead, 2 kill lead into an absolute mountain. And when he's not like taking 20, 30 kills, he's doing the most damage as well, as we saw in the third game. Is just now he did the most damage on Victor. But Black Infinity, so consistent as you mentioned, every game he played today on Evelyn, every game he was ahead, not just by a little, but he was significantly ahead in every single game. He was just carrying the early game on his back, just wreaking havoc on that Evelyn, showing us why people in high Grandmaster and Challenger ban out the Evelyn when they know that Black Infinity is queuing up. You need to ban the Evelyn in solo
Yeah,
queue itself.
he does leave his mark on the game. Like he's in the game, doing something, pulling out something flashy, or just dominating in CS numbers or something or the other. So he leaves his mark in the game somehow. So he's been quite consistent. Yeah.
So that was it. An amazing grand finale going on. The Temple of Kings will be and the MVP actually will be announced on social media. So make sure you follow us to know that and follow all the socials provided in the YouTube stream. So looking at the prize pool again, Temple of Kings managed to secure that bread and they will walk away with 1500 US dollars for their name, and Fake 9 will take away $750 for that. And watch out for the MVP prize that will be announced later on to see who takes away that extra $150.
Yeah, and huge props to Fake Nine as well. They came into the finals for sure. They were second best, and they weren't really the favorites to win it, but they did quite well. Managing to come to the finals is not a small deal as well. $750 for them, so congrats to them as well.
Yep. So, guys, that was the whole tournament, the WD Black Cup Season 2 of League of Legends, brought to you by AMD and esports partner Skyesports. We saw 64 teams from all over South Asia taking part in this huge tournament. Mhm. And at the end, Temple of Kings were the one who took it all home. So, we will see you in the next iteration of this tournament, and wishing you guys a very merry Christmas in advance and a happy new year. And this was very fun to cast. I'm Fireball. You can follow me on Instagram, and you can follow my co-caster here, Kaka, as well. I'm pretty sure he had a lot of fun too.
Yes, I did actually, and it was so much fun casting this tournaments, watching the game. And thank you guys for watching as well.
So that will be all. Goodbye.
Suppose there are times when you're feeling unfound. Suppose there are days when your colors turn to gray. That's when you call me and know just what to say. We go out and on the night. We jump and touch the light. We dance and we don't sleep until we die. We don't have to worry. Drink up the night, it's early. Keep dancing, there's a time for running right. Suppose there are times when you lose your troubled mind. Suppose there are times when you're feeling unfound. Suppose there are days when your colors turn to gray. That's when you call me and know just what to say. We go out and on the night. We jump and touch the light. We dance and we don't sleep until we die. We don't have to worry. Drink up the night, it's early. Keep dancing, there's a time for running right. We'll be right back.